Hill Heat.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at Tru Heel Heat. Yeah!
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with Tru Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is Tru Heel Heat, and I said it right, you motherfuckers.
It is time for the Saturday morning cookout, the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast, and not that much wrestling shows to get through, but plenty of news to replace all the shows that we usually would talk about this week, with Miro asking for his AEW release because asking for releases has more than one royal family. AEW wants Kevin Owens with his deal about to expire. WWE is about to sign the Lucha Bros. SmackDown is going to 3 hours. Jesus Christ, kill me now. Hit the intro. Let's get to it. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 295 Redeemer Exit, discussing the latest wrestling news, including Miro requesting his AEW release, WWE set to officially sign the Lucha Bros. AEW wants Kevin Owens amid his WWE contract about to expire later this year, and a recap of this week in wrestling with AEW Dynamite featuring the Elite versus the Don Callis family. You had Collision, Rampage, ROH TV, WWE SmackDown with a tremendous Roman and Cody face-to-face at Georgia Tech. Raw, NXT, STARDOM, and TNA. Plus, we got final predictions for next Wednesday's AEW Grand Slam event. And she is back with us, the tribal queen, the tribal princess is back. She looks tired still, even though she was on vacay. Miss Krssi Luv is back. How are you doing?
Good morning, everybody. I'm very tired. I'm very, very tired. I was not on vacation, friends, first of all. I was being a parent. But anywho, but yes, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? I missed a lot this week, so I'm excited to hear what's happening.
Oh, you're going to hear a lot, as always, here on the flagship. And, of course, joining us once again, the Tru Draw himself, Josh. How are you?
Doing good. Lots of news this week. Like you said, the shows were kind of quiet, but definitely a lot of news.
Indeed, always the news replaces when there's not that many shows during the week. But with you guys, it's like 11, just past 11 a.m. With me, it's just past 4 p.m. We got someone over on the West Coast, maybe the best host. The Lakers are over there, so it is the best host. It's a little after 8 a.m. for him. He is a radio host, podcast host, and a very knowledgeable professional wrestling fan all the way in Vegas. It is Mark Hoke of the Mark Hoke Show. How are you doing?
What? Oh, yeah. I'm up. All right. I'm good. Happy to be here, guys. Happy to be here. Live from Vegas, doing our thing. And you got me up on a Saturday morning. I do the show on Sunday mornings, 8 to 10 on 101.5 FM KDON. But hey, you know what? Saturday morning too. Let's do it. It's
gonna be an early weekend for you. No sleeping in this weekend for you, sir.
This is my one morning I get to sleep in, and I've given it to you, SP3.
We appreciate you for that.
Right.
We appreciate you for that. And we're going to have a full house this week because not only do I have my usual co-host with us, not only do we have a very special guest, we got our monthly visit from the I shouldn't compare him to Brock Lesnar. That's not the type of person you want to be compared to. But he had the Brock Lesnar schedule. The true alcoholic incarnate himself, Top Guy JJ, is joining us. How are you doing, Top Guy?
He was about to do it. Yeah. What's going on? Nice to meet you, Mark. See?
Nice to meet you too. What's going on?
Two things already. It's already in common, man. Either getting you up on a day outside of your schedule, getting me up on my fucking vacation. Yeah, this is just what people that just don't care about what people's schedules are do.
Man, you got the trees and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm fucking waking up to talk wrestling.
Like it's a bad thing.
You're usually on vacation from this show.
It depends on the week we're talking about.
Well, this is also very
Also fair. But yes, we got a lot to discuss today, and we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you are watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook, you can drop a heart, a like, an angry emoji, a laughing emoji. However, this week in wrestling made you feel. Watching us on Twitter, drop a heart and retweet the video. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. Tru Heel Heat, one of the most interactive podcasts around, so we'll highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here and have your comment highlighted on screen for sure and be a part of the conversation, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It helps out the contributors that you usually see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We got G Loke in the chat with us today saying what it do at Tru Heel Heat. Smash up that like button and let's go. We also got Eric Isaac who says, hey, THH fam, Bad Blood is coming, as well as Wrestle Dream and Bound for Glory, as well as fall season is here. And we got Bell in the chat joining us early saying, hey, yo, and Eddie James who says, what's up? Good to see some familiar faces in the chat already. And that's why we start off every flagship podcast with our Tru Heel roll call, shouting out you guys who are supporting us here on the YouTube channel, on our Patreon, and across social media. Our top 3 conversation starters over on our Tru Heels group page. You got our Tru Heel Trinity, Ivan Rosa at number 3. Number 2, Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. So Vegas on Vegas here. We got Vegas with Mark Hoke. We got Vegas Bad Boys showing their support.
I know those guys. They're insane.
And number 1 this week. Hey, is that what type of drink are you drinking on today?
I'm starting with the Fiji, but I've got some Crown Crown Apple in the background, the
Ooh.
Jack Daniels, and the Cabo Wabo Blanco tequila.
Oh,
We had to put you on the big screen so we could see
yeah.
it. in the background.
Yeah. Here, I got this. Is like, the whole
Never
bar
go
is
wrong
back
with
there.
Crown.
I got the crown.
With the box.
This is-
That's impressive.
Ooh, yes.
But this stuff, guys, if you like tequila, this is it. Cabo Wabo Blanco.
Really?
Ooh,
Okay.
Telling you.
He's putting y'all on game.
It's a lot of crap tequila out here.
And he
Yeah, buy that. That's Sammy Hagar's.
He ain't bullshitting because he drank pretty much that whole bottle already.
Yeah, there's another bottle sitting back there too.
I love it. Number one for our conversation starters, Neil Benedict, and our Patreon backers. You got Valo B, you got Alan Weinstein, Negro Buck, Nick Jackson, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John, aka Russell Scopes, Dan, Kobe, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Marcus James, Alan, and Santo. And speaking of our Patreon backers, we got our first super chat donation from one of our backers, one of our best in the community, Vala B. Thank you so much, Vala B, for the support. He says, once again, touching grass today, so I'm not sure I'll stick around. Hope that bum-ass Miro gets his release. Wow. Coming out firing.
Yeah. You know what?
Bum is always the word of the day on this show.
You know what, Valaby? I'm with you. In 11 minutes into the show, yeah, he's a bum. That's a bum.
And where would this bum want to go? Where
That's a real life bum. He ain't gonna be happy anywhere he goes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he should get his release. Why should he get his release?
Yeah, keep his ass there.
You know, if he's making you that angry and he's wasting time, why would you let him go to WWE? You know what? You've refused us for what we're doing. That's what they've said, that he has turned down their creative. So you know what? We're just going to let you kick back on the couch for a while. Have fun. Have fun.
Do it. Pull a Vince card and just keep his ass there longer.
Right.
I ain't mad at none of y'all, but y'all wildin'.
We're wildin'? Oh, he's wildin'. Which one?
Krssi, what's up, girl?
Hi, honey. How are you?
How you doing?
How's it going?
You know,
I texted you, but you didn't answer me, but it's okay. No worries.
I'm on vacation. I barely have this phone on me. It's always in the kids' hands.
Oh, okay. So I have to text the other line. Okay.
If you hit the Android, you probably would have gotten a little lucky, but they know how to work iPhones since the house is full of iPhones.
Got it.
They only want to play the games on the iPhones. Only on the iPhones.
You know.
So I don't get that phone back until it's bedtime, and then it's damn near bedtime for me.
This dude running the track.
Josh, what up, dude?
Phones.
What's going on, man?
He out here like Tariq St. Patrick. But yes. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Keep coming with those comments in the live chat, those super chat donations. But we got to get to what we missed. AEW Dynamite this week. They did 687,000 viewers from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and the show featured Will Ospreay teaming back up with the Don Callis families, Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, to defeat the Elites, Kazuchika Okada and the Young Bucks, in a tremendous trios main event. Despite Ospreay and Takeshita not being on the same page, the Don Callis family did pick up the victory here in a preview of what's going to go down at AEW Grand Slam when it's Ospreay and Fletcher versus Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. You also had Pac and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club called upon Wheeler Yuta to show up at Grand Slam to defend the World Trios Championships. Sad Yuta said he accepted the call out despite his mind still not being right after the betrayal of Bryan Danielson at All Out. Later in the show, though, Jon Moxley, Claudio, and Marina Shafir were attacked by a private party, or I'll say quote-unquote attacked because Jon Moxley didn't sell anything. They beat the hell out of Private Party, as well as Commander, who got caught in midair with a European uppercut, and this all led to Moxley breaking Isaiah Cassidy's hand with a damn hammer because they have been here since day one and haven't progressed anywhere in 5 years. Darby Allin eventually came out to make the save.
He's not lying.
gave his final words to Jon Moxley ahead of Grand Slam in a great segment on the show. You also had you also had Orange Cassidy picking up a victory over Chris Jericho. And what I thought was a good opener, despite not a lot of us caring about this feud, the feud from 4 years ago being reborn here, but Orange Cassidy had a good effort here. You also had Yuka Sakazaki and Queen Amanada picking up the victory over Mariah May and Serena Deeb by DQ after Mariah May hit Yuka with the AEW Women's World title to set up their matchup for Grand Slam. Ricochet beat Beast Mortos in an awesome matchup, the best since Ricochet came on over to All Elite Wrestling. After the matchup, though, Ricochet officially made the challenge, and it is official for the AEW International Championship. He will go up against Will Ospreay on the October 2nd, 5th year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Mark, what did you think about Dynamite this week and the fact that Ospreay and Ricochet being announced for 2 weeks' time after a lot of people thought this would definitely be a pay-per-view matchup, definitely get longer build. They're just putting it out there on the 5th year anniversary. What did you think about Dynamite overall and the challenge by Ricochet?
Overall, a good show, and Private Party got put in their place, which I thought was kind of funny. Mox is the agent of honesty, shall we say? We'll go with that. But I got to be honest with you, I'm really surprised that Ricochet and Ospreay has happened so quick. You know, this is the second feud that's coming up here that I think has been moved a little too fast. I like a slower build. You know, I'm not really thrilled that Danielson and McGuinness is taking place at Grand Slam. I wanted that down the road too. Good for Tony if that's what he needs to do. He thinks to boost the ratings, great, but that match should have been saved for something much bigger than this. That's just
like a pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that has potential if you build that. You know, you start putting those video clips together. I think we all know about that incredible 10-minute sequence they had in Japan. You know that's something that everybody is dying to see, but without a longer build on it, I don't know if it's going to have the impact that it would have if it's going to be done here in a couple of weeks. So, let's do it. But I would. You know, it's like, you know, you meet the girl. You know, you don't want to. You don't want to do it on the first night. You know, let's build it a little bit. You know, let's make it special. You know, I guess that's just me, but you know, Tony Khan likes quickies.
You hear that, ladies? Mark is a guy who likes foreplay.
And I'm damn good at it too.
Hey,
there we go. JJ, what did you think about Dynamite this week and Ricochet and Ospreay being confirmed for 2 weeks time?
It's a solid show. Nothing to write home about. Yeah, this I'm still getting used to the Jon Moxley thing. I'm still getting used to this this agent of all of a sudden trying to just like clean Dynamite of all like trash and get rid of all irrelevancy. That's what I'm getting out of it. It's you people that hasn't done shit. It's time for y'all to go. You know what I'm saying? Like Darby Allin's been in the company 5 years. What the fuck you getting a title shot for? Like you don't deserve it. Getting rid of this private party. I haven't done shit in half a decade. You know what? I'm with some of it. I'm just trying to kind of get the pairing of him and Marina Shafir together. I'm just trying to still like it. I'm trying to like it still. It's just not rubbing off the way I would envision. Pause if that is a pause moment. So there's a guy that we just talked about at the start of the show. This fucking Miro guy, right? He should learn how to take notes on how to actually do and get creative with your brain, because this is how Chris Jericho somehow manages to stay on television, because the motherfucker always has ideas. Whether you like them or not, whether they're shit or they're hot, he always comes up with something. He comes up with something. Whether we fucking like it or not, and a lot of this shit is, I ain't give two fucks about this orange jacket beef, but it was an idea I'm pretty sure he came up with. And it got him on TV for 2 more weeks. So eventually,
it does not matter. Jericho will get on TV if he's reading a book.
Yeah,
and that's
it's in his contract. He got it in writing.
And that's the reputation it looks like it's building. But it appears as if he's at least trying to do stuff. And this guy's only pitch was to do something with Jon Moxley. Only to do something with Jon Moxley. You have an entire roster of like 300 motherfuckers on there, and the only person you thought would be worth your time, because basically if it's not worth the man's time, he don't want it. And the only person worth his time on the entire roster is Jon Moxley. So yeah, that's why I call him a fucking bum, because his brain is a bum. But overall, it was okay. And I completely agree that this match, I was just, the minute you just announced that it's happening in 2 weeks, just completely underwhelmed me. Like this is a Wrestle Dream match. Like, how the fuck is this not on Wrestle Dream? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't like it. This is like literally Wrestle Dream is like what, 3 weeks later? Like just
2 weeks later.
Just put the
10
shit
days,
on
10 days after the matchup they're gonna have.
That would have been the fucking match of the show, because clearly they could have put on a 30-minute classic. They're probably going to put on a nice 15 to 20-minute classic on television, because you know what? They might give Ricochet his moment in the sun here and probably give him a 30-minute match on Dynamite. Let's see. But we're probably going to have like 4 commercials in between, which is going to fucking ruin the entire vibe of it. But yeah, seeing it on, like, I would, if the shit would have happened, then Grand Slam would have been a better idea, because essentially they kind of treat Grand Slam almost like a mini pay-per-view of how they put it in the same place. It's a tradition that they do every year. And yeah, then we got, but I guess because, we got McGuinness and Danielson that's happening there. So I guess that's enough. And what else is on that card? Because I really don't even know the Grand Slam card that well.
Moxley and Darby, Fletcher and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. Those are the top 3 matches.
Okay, so I guess they think that that's enough. It remains to be seen, because apparently these cards are just kind of getting a little weaker and weaker to me. But it's okay. It's okay. We're still gonna have a good time. Still gonna have a good time back in New York. But yeah, I guess overall good show. But like I said, nothing to really like, oh my god, like write home about. Like it was solid TV for 2 hours.
Krssi, what did you think about Dynamite this week, and what's your feelings on the Ospreay Ricochet being made for the 5th year anniversary?
I didn't see it, but I agree that it should be on a pay-per-view probably, as well as the a few of the other matches, like the Nigel and Brian one. I think those should be on bigger stages, but hey, what do I know? I just work at a school, and that's what I get paid for. So
Well, I kind of disagree with Brian and Nigel. I'm okay with Brian and Nigel being on TV, especially because it's in New York City on the eve of their 15th anniversary of their last match in Ring of Honor. Okay. It's just the convoluted way we got to it.
The way they put it together.
It was so convoluted. It just mind boggles the brain, even a week later, how we did this, where you had Moxley say the champion is indisposed. That's how he gets the match with Darby at Grand Slam, only to turn around and have Nigel say he already has a match made by Tony Khan against the same champion, but this is non-title. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think it's fine to do it in New York City, and I get why they're doing it in New York City. But they could have done this a lot smoother than the convoluted. It felt like Triple H explaining we have a GPS, we know where we're going, but we just go with the twists and the turns, and this is how we got here. Yeah, no, I'm good. No, just go direct. Just go straight. Don't go twist and turning on this whole creative process. That's what it felt like last week when they made those 2 matches. But I'm fine with it in a vacuum happening at Grand Slam on TV, because AEW is doing well on pay-per-views, but it's a TV business. So they have to put the big matches on TV on occasion. I do agree with y'all on Will Ospreay and Ricochet. It makes no sense to do it 2 weeks before Wrestle Dream when it's gonna probably be on the pay-per-view as well. I feel like they've done that too many times this year overall. So that's my big issue with it. But Josh, any further thoughts on Dynamite and Ricochet and Ospreay?
Dynamite was okay. Like I felt like the show was solid, but nothing like too crazy. Like it just felt kind of like a pilot mode kind of episode for me, at least. I'm excited to see Ricochet and Ospreay. I am a little surprised that they're doing it this soon. But you know, there are factors. You know, we have the 5th year anniversary, so they want to do something big. Can't get any bigger than this. It's also the same week as NXT goes to CW, so maybe they're trying to do something to try to combat that in a way. But then also, you know, like you said, like the pay-per-view numbers have been up this year, so they probably feel confident that whatever they put on pay-per-view is still gonna drive in like what they need or what they feel like they could do when it comes to pay-per-views. So when in regards to that, you know, I do feel like it should have been on a pay-per-view, but I'm like, if that's what they're doing now, it's like, okay. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, so it's like either way, I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, and what I'm wondering about it is, you know, there's probably going to be a sequel. I would imagine that they're going to face off and then do it again at Wrestle Dream. So, you know, I mean, Seattle Tacoma is going to be really interesting. That's going to be a fun card. I can't wait to see what comes out of Grand Slam on Wednesday to set up the next pay-per-view. I mean, I'm a big Nigel guy. I've interviewed Nigel, talked to him a bunch of times, and you know, he's just such a great performer and a great guy, and I'm excited to see where he goes. I told you, CP3, I want him to get the belt. I want Nigel McGuinness at least briefly as the world champion. I think that'd be awesome. So
I just love how the indisposed guy that John Moxley is talking about is having a match the same exact night that he is.
Yeah.
In contention.
That made no sense. Especially saying, you know what? I said it last week. What would have made sense is if Nigel challenged him because Moxley said he's indisposed. And they would have set this whole matchup as Nigel is challenging Bryan, but Bryan is not medically cleared. So he's basically forcing Bryan to show up when he's not medically cleared to be in this matchup. But to say that Tony Khan made this after Bryan got choked out and suffocated in a plastic bag, it just threw away any logic to the situation.
Oh, but the thumbnail on the match says if he's cleared.
I understand that. But
Yeah,
we know
so they didn't, there's no context, right? So there's no context there. It's just he challenged him, and then they put it in the thumbnail. Like, he was supposed to kind of talk about that to the crowd, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. He hasn't issued a challenge in a wrestling match in like a decade, so it's okay. It's all right.
Hey, here we are. It's gonna be a good show. Grand Slam. They've really They put some big matches on it, and I'm okay. I'm like 50. I'm like in the middle on the putting a big matchup on the 5th anniversary because they did need a big matchup. I just don't know if Ricochet versus Ospreay should have been that big matchup. And the fact that you set this up at All Out with Ospreay telling Ricochet to get your wins up, and he got 2 wins. That's not getting your wins up. At least let him go on a 3-match winning streak before he gets a title shot.
Isn't it 3 matches? Didn't he wrestle 3 matches?
No, he had 1 match before All Out. And then Ospreay and Ricochet did that segment at All Out, and he's done the Sammy match and the Beast Mortal match. He is 3-0, but he said get your wins up after his first matchup. So he's only won twice since that whole promo exchange.
He's a get your wins up, and then he challenged him. Hey, I mean, they do that in the UFC. They do that in the UFC, so might as well.
See, I think the Dynamite should have been Miro, Wardlow, and Daniel Garcia in a 3-way in the main event. Just saying.
A lot of people that might leave.
Nah, Miro wouldn't have wanted that. That's not worth his time.
Well, then you give him his release. You know what? Tell Miro if he wins the match, he gets released.
Then he'll really try.
There's a stipulation.
Oh, he'll really try that.
Yeah, he would go all out.
He'll be throwing Wardlow up to the ceiling.
We got a super chat donation here from Chuck Perry's. Thank you so much, Chuck Perry's, for the support. He says, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but so will John Moxley and his hammer. Shit still gives me bad dreams." I do disagree with. I know you said you don't know how you feel about it yet, JJ, but I love this. I think John Moxley and the new Combat Club is the best thing going in AEW right now.
It is.
Marina Shafir
really
feels like an absolute badass.
Mm-hmm.
The way she just takes care of Moxley's light work when Isaiah Cassidy is punching him and he no-sells him, and she's like, "Come here."
I do like.
That's what she should have done.
No, I'm saying is that there's elements that I do like of it, but I want to really enjoy it, and I haven't hit that part yet.
Oh, I really enjoyed this segment on Wednesday, especially her when they took a look after I think Darby hits Claudio with the skateboard, and then Moxley and Darby are doing the face off in the ring, and they pan back to Marina Shafir, and she just has her hand on Claudio's chest like she's Ebony Maw in Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, telling him, "Let him have his fun. Let him have his fun."
But you know what? Again, that's another note for that bum to take, is that even though John Moxley is one of the absolute biggest stars in the entire company, he is finding ways to do a small change, to do a small re-innovation to his character. He's doing something different. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker's still gonna come on there and still talking about he's God's redeemer.
You don't like Miro.
I can tell he doesn't.
I don't. You know what? Is that I had such high hopes for this motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when I had such high hopes for him, and then every time they bring him back, it's the same fucking message. Mm-hmm. It's the same back cage cut promo. It's the same shit. It literally, that's why the motherfuckers had like 11 matches in 3 years, because he doesn't fucking bring nothing new to the table.
Well, let's talk about it then. Let's just talk about it. JJ wants to talk about it. You know what? Fightful Select reported this week that former TNT champion Miro has asked for his release from All Elite Wrestling after spending 2024 on the sidelines. Miro's last match was at World's End in 2023 against, guess who? Andrade El Idolo, who is currently on the WWE roster. He was out of action for a long time after that, but has been healthy for a while. He only worked 7 matches last year and 11 matches since December of 2021. At one point, AEW considered using him for the Casino Gauntlet match at AEW All in London, and he pitched working with John Moxley earlier this year. Miro and AEW have been rumored to have difficulties agreeing over creative during his time with the company, and it's unknown if his release was granted at this point. Likewise, it's unknown if there is interest from WWE at this time. He joined All Elite Wrestling in September 2020 with a deal that would have expired in the spring of 2022, but he signed a 4-year extension that isn't up until 2026, until the spring of 2026. He is said to be earning 7 figures on that deal. So at least $1 million he is making per year on the deal. So that's outrageous.
So you mean to tell me that this nigga is making basically $100,000 a match?
Like, no, not even a match, just to show up. Like,
I mean, yeah. Give it up.
I need.
Hulk Hogan would be proud.
I need that.
Would be very proud. Hey, he making the Brock Lesnar money at this point. JJ, you've been wanting to talk about it. So, what is your thoughts on Miro asking for his release, and your overall thoughts on Miro's run in AEW?
He looked like he was gonna be the fucking man. Like, he looked like he was gonna be the man when he got there, and he started doing his thing, and you start to hear these rumblings, and you start to hear, this is not the first or second story about this shit about him not agreeing with creative, not agreeing with this, not this being a level of interest for him. You know, this is probably why Miss Lana, aka CJ, is divorcing his ass. He's probably like this in real life. He's like a fucking entitled child that doesn't get what the fuck he wants, and he's in a place of employment. It's not that they're putting him on TV and he's fucking having matches against like Scrappy Johnson and fucking Luke and Luke Nunwalker. Like, they put him on TV and this motherfucker gets these semi-profile matches. Fucking build on the shit. Fucking build on it. Like every other fucking competitor in the company does. Like, who the fuck hasn't in that company, like, basically had like a run of matches before something, besides Ricochet, he's only had 3, but, before getting something. Like, they usually go on like a streak of matches every week. They're on TV weekly, and then they work into a program on a pay-per-view, get through the fucking pay-per-view, and then work towards the next goal. Nah, this nigga just wants it right away. He just wants to fucking come out there and just and do that dumb shit, and that should earn him a world fucking title match. To me, the sense of entitlement doesn't match the reasoning of why he's acting like such a fucking baby. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, the fact that he's getting paid this much money and he's bringing no ideas to the table, he just wants creative to just fucking open up their magic book and fucking just whip up everything for him, and all he does is just come out there and show up. That's literally all he wants to be able to fucking do. That's his creative. It's just to come out there and do that. And do like one kick, do his little camel clutch, call it a day, and go back and say, "You've been redeemed." That's literally it in a nutshell. And he wants to be world champion because of that. And to that, he's a fucking bum. We're
gonna need a disclaimer for JJ.
What do we say? I mean, wow. Okay, I'm down with that. I mean, here's my thing for him though, is that does WWE really want him back?
No,
hope not. I hope not.
And if he would go to WWE, where does he fit in? I mean, if he's pulling this kind of thing, he's never going to pull that over at WWE. So maybe they'll get him back in line. But where does he go in there? I think he's making a big mistake doing what he's doing, but I think Tony needs to be firmer with him too.
Same figures over there.
Yeah. So Tony either needs to get firm with the guy and say, "Look, I'm paying you a ton of money. You need to get in the ring, and if I put you in a clown suit, I put you in a clown suit. Let's go, let's go." And because I think the guy's just trying to force a release, but at the same time, man, I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna do? Give him a $500,000 buyout, and then he goes and then WWE doesn't want him, and it's like, ooh, Miro in the Indies. Let him wrestle Raj Desi. I mean, come on.
Come on, put butts in the seats.
You know what you're gonna get if he goes to the Indies, right? Come on, you already know what's gonna happen.
What?
No, I think he's going to come out in a nice tuxedo and top hat, do a little Fred Astaire dance, have a little fun out there. He's a free man.
It's going to be Miro Day. Miro Day. That's the one idea that he's come up with in both runs with the companies is Miro Day and God's favorite champion and the Redeemer, like JJ said. Krssi Luv, what do you think about this news of Miro wanting out of AEW, and what do you think AEW should do?
First of all, I think he should stay where he is because nobody wants him. And the fact that you're being paid all of this money. I don't know. What did I?
You and JJ just holding no punches. Just holding no punches.
I mean, listen. When you guys laugh like that, that means you either thought about it and you just didn't say it. Like you know it's true. Like everyone, like We're not lying. Where's the lies at, guys? I don't see any lies.
I didn't. No, I laughed because I just didn't get to say it.
And then the fact that you're being paid this money just to sit home sounds like a win to me. You still getting a check, bro. Like, now if they're bringing you ideas, why are you not bringing them? Hey, let's do this idea, or go talk to Chris Jericho and see how he's making lemons out of lemonade, because this shit still gets on fucking TV and still some kind of way gets over on people after maybe 3 weeks of doing it and annoying people. So maybe you need to like figure out your own like type of gimmick. I don't know where they would put you right now on set card of how we would get you to who would wrestle. Like, it's sad to say, it's like the Warlow effect. Like, I mean, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know where we would put you. Like, yeah, you were good while you were here while it lasted, but I think there's other guys that people probably would want to see before they say, how was that Miro match? I'll wait.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'll wait too. Yo, bro, you seen that Miro match, cuz?
And I'm sorry to say that, but like, bro, we haven't seen you since World End, and that match was barely that good. World End sucked, to be honest.
Yeah, World's End feels like a doomed pay-per-view when you had that, and it was in New York, and New York didn't like boo both guys out of the building, like Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. They should have booed both of them since they were both leaving.
Yeah.
And SP, let me tell you what, this is why I think that we be fair on this show, right? Is that literally we had a guy in the name of Donovan Dijak that guy that was unwanted, right? Mm-hmm. But he was a guy that kept coming to them with ideas, kept coming to them with things to do, kept coming to them with thoughts in his mind, and they just didn't go over. This motherfucker just wants to get a call and say, we're putting you in this program. We're putting you in this program. We're putting you with this. What do you think of this? Entitled bum. Just sits there and just fucking goes home, beats his little fucking meat now because he ain't got no fucking flexible wife at home, and then just waits for a call.
You know what? Okay, yeah.
You keep bringing up the wife, like, come on,
man.
Like, yo, nah, bro. Nah. This nigga needs a dose of reality, bro. Like, he thinks everything is in his. Like, yo, take some fucking accountability that the reason that your ass is not doing what the fuck you think you should be doing is because you have something to do with it, you fucking prick.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, he's not lying.
I hate entitled pricks. I don't like them. I am with the people that is, yo, I'm doing this. I'm putting something together. I'm trying something. I'm trying these. And if the idea is not fucking working, it's okay. Go back to the fucking drawing board. It's okay. At least they are trying. This motherfucker is not.
He's those entitled people, like, like, oh, here's the job for you. Here you go. Here it is on a platter. Now go. That's what he wants. That's not how it works, though, bro. Like, yo, collect your check and sit the fuck down.
Nigga's a fucking millionaire coming up with nothing.
Is that fun to do?
Exactly. It's gonna catch on, right?
Big Red Dog says, why not just release him and use the money for something useful like re-signing Garcia if he's bad? Because you have to buy him out. He has 2 years left on his deal. You're still wasting money. Like you think you can just release him?
Yeah, so
you can't just release him because you have to buy out. You have to basically buy out the last 2 years of his contract. If so.
Yeah, but at the same time, that happens in sports all the time, though. Guys get their contracts bought out continuously. If Tony really wanted to get rid of him, let's say he's got $2 million left on his deal. If you go to him and say, you know what, here's $500,000, see you later. Would you take that? I mean, the guy, I don't know. I think that they didn't book him real well either. So I can understand.
No, he was hot in 2021. He was hot.
Yeah, and then it just tailed off. Like, seems to happen a lot. So to a point, I mean, I get JJ's hate, but I can understand too why he's probably a little frustrated as well. So
Yeah, fuck him.
plus, well, yeah, fuck him. But you know, it's plus he lost a hot wife, so he's his head's not in the right place. I mean, if I got divorced from CJ Perry, man, I wouldn't know how to get up the next morning. It's like it's over. It's like, how do I do better?
Yeah, he was in Bulgaria for a while, and there a lot of this, like I said, he was hot in 2021 when he was God's favorite champion, but he got hurt at the tail end of that year, and then he re-signs with the company the next year in the spring for a 4-year extension. And they never really were able to kind of recapture that or put him in a top position or put him in a program with the top star. They originally wanted him to feud with like Hangman Adam Page coming out of his TNT title run. And that was like one of the first ideas that I heard that he rejected from creative because he didn't want to put over Hangman Adam Page, which I did have this at that time. I did have the same energy as JJ, but he's been with the company now 2 years after that. You couldn't come up with something else.
Yeah.
Like I understand they wanted to listen to him, and his whole idea was, bring in CJ Perry, and we're basically gonna redo programs we did in like 2018, 2019 WWE with Andrade and stuff like that, and that didn't work, but I think they could have done something with the amount of money that he was getting paid. Or Tony Khan, like Mark is saying, could have enforced and been like, hey, we're not going to pay you this week because you don't want to show up. You're not accepted.
Right.
Because I think that's the only way he would have showed up or agreed to any type of creative is if you're affecting his wallet. I think then he would have done something to be like, all right, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Josh, you've been quiet during this.
Certain people, once you start messing with their money, that's I bet you they show up to work then.
Like get them off their ass.
Yeah, get them
off their ass
with a fucking pen, hopefully.
Josh, what do you think about the whole Miro asking for a release?
I mean, not much I can really say because everybody else said what they said. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, like I said yesterday, like when we were talking about it, I was like, I don't feel that bad for him because he's had several opportunities to get back on TV, and when the ball's in your court and you don't want the ball, then it makes it that much easier just not for them not to use you, like and that's how I see it. I was like, he's had several opportunities, and he didn't want to work. That's just what it comes down to. I said that they don't blame him for using that as his advantage. I'm like, I don't think it's an advantage. I think he hasn't been on TV, so how's it an advantage? Like,
yep.
The only thing you could say is like, yeah, he's getting paid, but to me, that's not really the point, right? It's kind of like when somebody about an athletes, when some of them have bad contracts, they get paid, but the whole point is like, that's not what it's about. They're getting paid, but they suck, like like their contract, they got overpaid, like and they're not contributing to what they got paid for. So when it comes to Miro, I mean, we've heard this for the last several years now that they pitch ideas, he doesn't want it, he rejects it. Maybe there's something deeper than that we don't know, but the common theme is that, then that's probably what it is. And then for him to now ask for his release, I'm like, man, it only took you 9 months to ask for your release, like after you haven't been used. Okay, cool. I guess you don't want to get paid anymore. If they keep him, I mean, I don't know if I want to keep somebody who asks for the release. That's another thing too. Yeah. Right? Because you don't want to be there.
I agree with that. I think that's the main reason why I feel like Tony Khan should just cut bait. Cut bait, whatever you need to do, buy out his contract, whatever you need to do. Because
he could be with Jinder Mahal and go.
If someone didn't want to be there, you just let them go.
Yeah, because even if you buy out their contract, you're not going to pay them. You're not going to pay them the full amount of their contract, but you're still paying them. So they're still getting paid by the company. It's just a matter of what they're going to do. And then also the logistics of it. Like, I know, like, with certain contracts, like, if you show up on TV, you perform on TV, you get a certain amount. So he's probably just getting, like, the average, like, whatever they get paid when you're not on TV. that's probably what he's just been getting paid. So he's probably not even getting like his full money, even sitting at home. Who knows? But at this point, the man asks for his release. I mean, if the buyout was not that big, I'll just do it. I'm like, let's release him. He goes back to WWE, and it's like it's gonna be the same shit. He's gonna have to fall in line over there, and you know me, I never really cared about Miro to begin with, even when he was Rusev.
I think we're giving this too much time, to be honest.
I'm just like, look at all the people that has literally reinvented themselves in AEW, and I'm gonna miss a whole lot of people. So I'm just ringing off a couple of names. Like, look at fucking Swerve Strickland. Look at fucking Hangman Adam Page. Look at the Young Bucks. Chris fucking Jericho. You got the fucking, even the Acclaim tries to do different things with their fucking characters. You got fucking Jack Perry. Like all these fucking people that has done so many different things to revolutionize their characters, to keep themselves relevant. And remember, when the Jack Perry shit started, it was as fucking lukewarm as possible. But when he kept at it, he stuck to it, he kept pushing it. Now this motherfucker's one of the hottest people in the entire fucking company. Just you know what's coming. You know what's coming. That's all you're gonna get.
I was gonna say Timeless Tony Storm is the best.
Timeless Tony Storm, Mariah May.
Someone who came over from WWE and was trying to do the same character she was doing in WWE, but reinvented herself. She reinvented herself with the Outcast and reinvented herself as Timeless Tony Storm. And she's
Julia fucking Hart.
Yeah, Julia Hart.
Julia Hart is a good one. Yes, Julia Hart is a great one.
Yo, all these people are doing different things.
That's a good one. Julia Hart is a good one.
Yeah, that's one thing about AEW too, is they really let their people come up with ideas. It's more of an open process there. So I would love to know what ideas he's coming up with that they're rejecting.
Right.
Because it can't be good, but I don't know. It's a weird situation, and but that's one as being in management, you've got to take control of that. And they just let this drag out so long and not do anything with the guy and let him sit around. Something should have been done way before that till it gets to this point.
A lot of times we blame the company, right? A lot of times we blame the company.
No, I can't blame the
company. Sometimes the talent needs to take some fucking accountability, and that he needs to be the fucking one to take it.
No, I agree. I
think the most blame goes to Tony Khan though, because like Mark said, he let it drag out way too long.
True.
I feel like Miro does deserve some blame. I'm not saying he's blameless in this situation.
He probably let it drag out.
Because his whole mindset is I saw it earlier in the chat. He feels like he's bigger than AEW. It seems.
Right.
He feels like he's a bigger star than what he actually is.
Yeah, he's really not though. That's the problem.
Yeah, and
that's probably Tony's way of. I'm sorry, that's probably Tony's way of showing him he's not a bigger star, ignoring the motherfucker. He probably handled it differently than most of us would have, but just ignored him. You think you're that big? All right, we're gonna run. Yeah, we're gonna run months of shows without you. We're gonna grow our business without you. You're gonna see new champions without you. You're gonna see new stars without you.
Yeah, slap them up.
pretty much. But yes, we'll talk more about this, I guess, when the release is either rejected or accepted. We'll see how this pans out. We do have another super chat donation here from Big Hero Chris. Thank you so much, Chris, for the support. He says, "Happy Rusev Day."
Yeah, Rusev Day. Woo!
Yo, so send his super chat back. Please refund him.
No, it is a good. We're gonna get Rusev Day back, guys. I don't know how well that's gonna go, but we'll see. We did have a new report this week as far as AEW's TV deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's likely to be announced next week. Entertainment news outlet Puck News reported during an article on WBD Spending that AEW's deal is close to being finalized. The report notes that the formal announcement could come as soon as next week, barring any last-minute challenges. AEW is in New York City for the Grand Slam event next Wednesday and is likely to have reps from WBD in attendance. The report notes that the deal with WBD is reportedly for 3 years with a 4th-year option and includes broadcasts on TNT, TBS, and True TV. It notes that the broadcast would be twice a week without further explanation and states that a $170 million per year number is in the ballpark, quote unquote. It goes on to say that AEW is also pitching another package primarily to broadcast channels, and there is no word in the report regarding any pay-per-view deals being included in the WB deal or not. It has been reported that AEW was in talks with Fox for a new show, with speculation that it could be for the AEW Shockwave trademark. Fightful Select has an update on the rumored new media rights deal for AEW with Warner Bros. Discovery. The rumor was the 4-year deal with the 3rd-year option. According to Fightful, sources close to the situation claim that the information first reported by Puck News is said to be accurate, and the deal is close to being finished. However, it's unknown when that date will be announced. Puck News report noted that an announcement could be as soon as next week. Additionally, Fightful reports that sources within AEW have said that things are being kept tight-lipped regarding the television deal, and the talent hasn't been kept in the know regarding AEW's programming future, including the future of pay-per-view events. That said, Fightful notes that several individuals believe that any pay-per-view and or max streaming deals would be separate from the figure that was outlined by Puck News. Deals involving max and pay-per-view events could be independent of the new broadcast deal with Warner Bros. Discovery and All Elite Wrestling. Fightful also notes that the $200 million per year benchmark for AEW led to the $1 billion remark by CM Punk stated in his return promo on AEW Collision last year. That referenced AEW potentially getting an all-encompassing deal valued at $200 million per year over 5 years, which would have equaled $1 billion. The current length of the deal wouldn't bring AEW to the $1 billion in revenue over 5 years. However, the $170 million figure, plus additional possible pay-per-view deals and revenue and any other outside media packages, likely would bring AEW to that amount. Previously, AEW was reportedly offered at least double the company's previous media rights fees. Following the Olympic Games in Paris, AEW was said to have been offered another media rights deal that was quote-unquote lengthy and needed to be heavily reviewed. During the weekend of All Out 2024, WBD sources informed Fightful that talks with AEW were applicable and ongoing. Additionally, Fightful is said to be that AEW is still shopping additional media rights packages, which Tony Khan has been interested in doing for a while. This means AEW programming would be no longer be exclusive to Warner Brothers Discovery, and that deal of exclusivity came after AEW Collision when they removed AEW Dark and Elevation from YouTube. As previously noted, AEW has been in talks with Fox Network, which has spoken with 2 other wrestling companies outside of WWE as well. Fightful notes that WBD is preparing materials to announce its 2025 programming slate, and there's not been any mention of Ring of Honor being included in any talks. That doesn't rule out that talks regarding ROH programming have taken place. While AEW's financials are still unknown, a TV deal of this size would likely make the company very profitable. During a recent interview with Busted Open Radio's Dave LaGreca, AEW president and CEO Tony Khan discussed the future of the promotion, and he said on the future of AEW, "I didn't bring my sunglasses to Sirius Studios today, but the future is so bright, I need them. The future is that bright. I know there have been a lot of reports. I have not done any of the leaking. With all due respect to the fine people at Puck Establishment and the Puck people, I didn't talk to them. I know they have been reporting things that are very interesting. On the reports of AEW nearing a new TV rights deal with WBD, he says there have been a lot of reports and rumors. I have not confirmed. Warner Brothers Discovery has not confirmed anything officially. We have a really exciting future there. I can say with 100% certainty, AEW and TBS and TNT are here to stay for a long time. Mark, what have you thought about all the talk about the Warner Brothers Discovery media rights deal? And what do you think about the numbers that were projected by Puck News in regards to $170 million per year over 4 years for AEW on WBD?
Well, I think Tony's going to be a very happy camper pretty shortly. But it seems like, I mean, did you hear yourself reading all of that?
Right.
That's a lot of moving pieces. And, you know, I mean, to me, the two things that they need to get done, aside from, you know, picking up that beautiful check, is they got to get that HBO Max deal done. They have to get that done. You need a place to stream your content and get that up there and, you know, get away from the pay-per-view model so you can increase that audience. So that to me is a huge deal. And, you know, but then getting on Fox, that just seems like it came out of nowhere. But if they can pull that off and get a show on Fox, you drop Rampage, you do a show there. Well, it's going to be very complicated with Collision and Dynamite, how they're going to handle it. You get on Fox, your ratings go boom. And, you know, Tony's got to be thrilled about that. I think the announcement is probably going to come at Grand Slam this week. You know, they've been teasing this way too long, and with the execs there and everything, you know, the sky's the limit on this, and especially after David Zaslav of Warner Bros. Discovery screwed up the NBA negotiations. I mean, Tony must have been sitting in his house saying, "Thank you, God, that you're an idiot that you couldn't keep the NBA, because now we've got you over a barrel." And you know, this is going to be a lot of fun. But I'm happy for AEW. I'm happy for Tony and all the performers, because now they're going to have a home for a long time, and we keep pro wrestling competitive. So I'm up for it, man. I mean, you know, getting that number up to a B instead of an M with the billion, that's a win. And it, by the way, and it does amaze me when I see people online trashing AEW, saying, "Well, you're only getting 170 million." I'm like, are you running a promotion that's on national TV getting a $170 million deal? I didn't think so. Shut up.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking. I had someone in the comments yesterday for my SmackDown review, like, "Oh, Warner Brothers must be desperate or idiots if they're giving Tony Khan a new deal." I was like, dude, you don't know the numbers. You think because, yes, the ratings or overall number has gone down year over year, but so has pretty much everything on TV. And still AEW's demo number, which from the beginning, Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, all the people that report on wrestling and know about the TV numbers, Brandon Thurston, they all said the demo number is the number that counts. And AEW regularly are in the top 5 every Wednesday night on cable. Right. That is why Warner Brothers Discovery will spend this type of money to keep them retained. And live sports of any kind, and yes, they consider AEW and wrestling to be a sport. Live content is very valuable to all TV companies. And that's why Fox is not only talking to now AEW, they're talking to another wrestling company outside of WWE, because they want to retain some type of live sports content when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, and it needs to be done. It's
needs
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to me when people are trashing the deal, and But one thing about ratings, as doing my radio show, I know about ratings. Ratings can be a little bit deceptive sometimes, especially in the days of like when people are I'm not bragging, but I get pretty good ratings on my radio show. But there's people out there that are watching, they're streaming it, that I don't see those numbers included in that. There's people out there that are, watching me on YouTube and so on and different places. So that number that used to be, if you weren't getting, 2 or 3 million people watching your show sucked. It's a way different ball game now. And I think that sometimes that number that gets presented is a little deceptive, because you're not combining all of the people that are actually watching the show. How many people are out there watching AEW on YouTube, or they're watching it on Fubo or wherever? That doesn't get counted in that. And there's only a select group of people that get clickers. It's not like they, just a little inside baseball. It's not that they can track the exact amount of people who are watching the show. They have a group of people out there that they send the clickers to. And when you are watching a show, you get it, and then they extrapolate the number. So it could be way more people watching AEW than what they're saying are. So so them being in the top 5 in those ratings every week, and a lot of times they're number 1 or number 2, you got to book that. You got to take that. So I think people don't understand how those numbers work, and they're saying things that don't make sense.
We do have a super chat donation here from our very own Top Guy JJ. Thank you, Top Guy. He says, I approve Josh's request for a refund. Great stuff, Top Guy JJ. What do you think about the number that Puck News has reported, 170 million per year for AEW on Warner Brothers Discovery?
It's huge, man. This is huge. I think this could be not only to keep, and just put this in a nutshell, like for this company to only be around 5 years,
right?
To only be around 5 years, and to get a potential major network deal, possibly, and a major streaming deal. That's pretty incredible. Like their fan base, as you said, is going to skyrocket. Like it could triple their fan base. Like and just because all the people that's already subscribed to Max. Think about that. If that goes down, and clearly SmackDown was literally averaging 2 million viewers by default. Like they were just getting 2 million people by default, because everybody's not only just gearing up for their night, people just have it on their TV gearing up for the 10 o'clock news. Like the fact that is just, it's like default viewership, and if the program is actually good, more people's gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I won't say don't drop the ball on this one, because this is a major negotiation to do. This things can easily fall in multiple ways. Like, numbers can change, things could fall apart. But the fact that this is even a possibility, it's an amazing achievement for them. Like, truthfully, like this is something that could keep them around. Obviously, they're going to be around, but guarantee they're going to be around for a while, like a long while. And they have the roster and the talent that they can pitch that this is going to be something that's not going to just be like this quick little fad and they're going to be gone. Like you see on something like the WWE, they to a degree, they're kind of like not proven, but they're big enough to, goddamn, that's a fucking big ass watch. A fucking
Miro threw something at him.
I was about to say, that's a Miro fan.
Yo, fucking giant watch just flew by my eyeball.
Yo,
that shit looked like it was in 3D.
Oh my god.
But man, to the fact that they have the talent to pitch this, and I think WWE is in a place like they're so big that they can be kind of selfish, that they can kind of be unloyal, they can kind of do what they want. So AEW is not there yet, just because they're still new. 5 years is still new. So if they could land this and then become a loyal partner, man, the things that can happen for this company, is astronomical. Like this would help improve their stage setup. This will help improve their promos. This would help improve, obviously, getting more talent. This would make their shows look bigger. Their production would be better. Like I would love for this to happen. Love it. Like this would be amazing.
Yeah, and a point that you brought up there too is that with them being so young, you're comparing them to WWE, who's been in business for 50 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
They have an infrastructure there and a brand recognition that is beyond comparison. Mm-hmm. So for Tony and AEW to get this done so soon, now they're going to be able to have something to rival what they've got on what WWE's got on Peacock. They're going to be able to do the public relations. They're going to be able to spend more money getting people out there to just hit the streets and meet and greet and do. I mean, just all that little stuff. Make the production like Jay said, make the production a lot better. They're getting this kind of influx of coin. Man, it is going to be ridiculous to see what they can do. I'm only wondering what they're going to be doing in 15 years if they keep it up.
Yeah. And you can already see the expansion that they're doing. They're doing 2 major stadium shows, one in Australia next year. So you're seeing that, but like the TV wise, I agree. I said it last week. What we kind of heard in the news this week, that it seems like with AEW Shockwave being optioned and shopped off to broadcast networks, it would mean that they're going to end a Rampage, which I said it last week. I'll say it again. That just makes sense. And I think that the way that Shockwave sounds, it should probably be, especially if it's going to go to like Fox Sports 1, it should be a studio show that just promotes AEW. It promotes the main shows of Dynamite, Collision, your big pay-per-views. Have someone like a Renee Paquette or Tony Schiavone in a studio with a RJ City, a Nigel McGuinness, and promote your show. And like you said, Mark, and like JJ said, it's going to be on a bigger platform where you're going to get new viewers that translate over to Warner Brothers Discovery. Josh, what did you think about the news this week of the $170 million per year number for AEW's TV deal?
It's a good number for them. I honestly thought it would be lower. I thought it would be lower, but you're talking about 3 years guaranteed for about over $500 million alone. Yeah. That's pretty big, and to get the option picked up, that's almost $100 million. Mm-hmm. So, for all those fans that said AEW is dying, it don't sound like it's dying to me. So, it's a good deal. Again, it's for a company that's been around for this amount of time, and to get a deal like that, it's pretty significant. A lot of people they're not gonna get them credit for it, but there's value there, right? If there was no value, they don't get the deal that they get. Mm-hmm. So it's good for them, And I know Tony did say, like, when it came to this new deal, and this was like as far as like 2-3 years ago, where they said they were going to focus more on certain things when it comes to like promoting and stuff like that. So I hope that like this time around they focus on that stuff that we have given criticism about when it comes to like promoting, marketing, and all that stuff. So hopefully that's something that they fix more going forward with all the money that they're getting. But again, it helps them out. Like when I was looking at the numbers, I know like Raw, they were getting about like $225 million a year. So AEW is probably getting about 170. And that's a good number. That's why I was like, yo, like that's a pretty significant number. It's just funny when it comes down to it, like, right? We had like we had WWE PR saying like, oh, that AEW was offered the same amount. That WWE's first deal, they're offered the same amount. And I'm like, well, that's something wrong there, because they don't sound like it's the same number to me. So
that's them trying to downplay. They're gonna always put their leaks in the media to try to downplay.
Yeah. No, that shit was funny though. That shit was funny, but I'm like,
it's just the internet, man.
But again, $500,000 a year, and they get the option picked up for almost $700 million. It's a win for.
That's a win. It's a big win.
Yeah. Definitely agree. I'm looking forward to them officially announcing this so we can stop covering it every week.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done doing those stories. My God, just announce the goddamn deal.
I hope Mark is right.
It's probably
DK did say 80%. Remember, DK did say like when they asked about like how soon, he said that he was like about like 90% sure that it was gonna be announced like sooner than later. Yep. So he was right. He was right.
This is a big deal.
Yep.
Like it's a big deal and a lot of moving parts. This is gonna bring a lot of jobs as well. Like the amount of jobs that this is gonna create. Like this is gonna create thousands and thousands of jobs.
They gotta create a marketing team, I think. Media marketing.
Like this is a big.
That's what they gotta do.
They need a marketing PR team to like definitely
people just like
brand their stuff much better. Once they get that, I think they'll be home free. And hurry up because I'm tired of using Bleacher. So.
This is not just sign pen to paper and get the deal done, and all of a sudden you just move to networks. When the deal is done, then the work starts.
That's when the work. That's when you gotta hit the ground running. You gotta hit the ground running.
Yeah, like this shit is massive. Like, I don't think people grasp how big this deal is.
We're a company that's 5 years old, literally.
Until it's people start seeing it on their phones and start to see it on their television screens and on their streaming platforms that they pay for. Like this shit is huge. This is huge. Like this is a big deal, a very big deal for a 5-year-old company. Like, fuck, I wish I could be somewhere for 5 years and negotiating fucking $500 million deals. What the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And creating thousands of jobs, helping the economy.
They're still winning regardless. They're still going to win. Like it doesn't even matter.
This is a big sign for like the long-term future of wrestling because we went so long before AEW was around where WWE was the main show and it was a big gap, and still there's a big gap between WWE and AEW, but that was a gap that was even bigger. That was like 5 times bigger 5 years ago that AEW has kind of made their mark as the second biggest promotion. And with this deal, they would become the second most profitable professional wrestling company of all time, passing WCW of all time. That's a big deal.
And then also, and then also, I mean, when in regards to like when you mentioned about the gap, anybody goes to AEW, they're getting paid. So it's not like they're getting chump change. They go there, you're getting major league money kind of deal, money deal when it comes to that too. So I mean, it works out for the talent too. Like they're gonna get when deals are coming up, AEW has the money now to re-sign them.
And one other thing, and one other thing that I'm wondering about is how does this affect TNA? Because if there is a big demand and it turns out that they can get a deal like this and some other networks were looking to try and get in on this, I'm curious to see if somebody's going to try and bite on TNA because, they're on Access. I know Anthem owns it and all that, but, they're not available in that many households. But I'm just curious if somebody is going to be a network executive somewhere is going to be sitting there saying, and seeing what TNA is doing right now, selling out all their shows at this point. Do we maybe make a play to get TNA? Because there's a lot of talent there. They have a good production team, but don't have the resources to do, I think, a lot of things they do. But I'm just wondering if somebody's going to go after TNA at this point and think, you know what? If we want to get pro wrestling on, but we can't get WWE and AEW, there is another alternative out there with some pretty good people involved.
I think the only issue is, like you said, it's owned by the network that they're on. And I don't think they're going to do that. Like they would be more likely to make a deal with another like network, say like, of your Fox, your ABCs, your NBCs want to get involved in this game a little bit more. They would have to make a deal to buy Anthem more than it is to TNA over to their what you said is a good point for like a big independent company like a GCW. You can see GCW getting on your like Tubies or something like that. Your MLWs getting on like one of those, not like the big station, but maybe a cable station that's like, hey, we see the money that WWE is making, we see the money that AEW is making. Let's get in on this. MLW was already talking to Fox. That's why they had the big lawsuit where WWE paid them like $100 million. And that's why they've been spending a lot more money on their promotion and their production for stuff, because they won that lawsuit because WWE basically blackballed them with Fox. But they might be willing to they might be willing to talk to like another TV company. Like I think that TNA would probably be like the third company in North America right now. But the big issue with them as far as getting a TV deal is that they already are owned by a TV company.
Money talks.
So
money talks, man. They'll close up access in a second if somebody says, we'll give you $100 million. Oh,
sure, sign me up.
See ya. So and it's interesting to bring GCW up too, because they're actually. I know that, we just had a guy on, John Wolf from Game Changer Weekly podcast. It's here in Las Vegas, who was talking that GCW is actually going to be toning back a little bit and cutting down the number of death matches that they have on their cards. It's kind of Matt Cardona's idea to pull it back a little. I'm wondering if there's not a move for them too coming. This is going to be fun, guys. We're very lucky to be in this industry at this time, because I haven't seen anything like this since back in the mid '80s. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and also what I wanted to know about TNA was that the fact that I don't think Anthem is wanting to even sell them at the moment, because remember, the reason why Scott D'Amore got let go was because he was trying to get a team to buy TNA, and then they weren't too thrilled about that. So that's another factor that plays in it too, is like how much are they willing to let TNA go if that was the case. But that was just something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah. But it's a very interesting time. But I know our good friend Top Guy JJ, you got a flight to catch soon, so we're going to give you the opportunity.
What? Who's that?
So your kids burned down the house, bro? Harlem did it?
There's a button in our house that makes that alarm go off, and Harlem randomly presses it. I think she pressed it on last week's show as well. But JJ, we want to give you the opportunity to let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when we will see you again.
It's good to be on as always with you guys. Great, it was very, very fun. Quick little 90 minutes here, but it was good. Can't wait to be back. I should be back pretty quickly though. I think my next appearance, it's heading towards October 5th in 2 weeks. So I think in 2 weeks it's because I have a quick little turnaround. So October 5th for now I think should be penciled. I want to say penciled, not pen, because it can be erased. But on Instagram you can find me at TrueHill_TopGuyJJ, and on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment Show. We do the watch alongs for the football games and all of that good stuff that's on there. Fun little random things too. But always good to be on here with you guys. Fun to chop it up, talk shit about, and get some fucking demons out of my system about that fucking bum Miro. So that was good. But can't wait to be back with you guys. It was fun. Even though I almost had a fucking wasp take out one of my fucking eyeballs. That was fun. I'm literally sitting in front of what appeared to be a wasp nest. Because
wow, that's courage, man.
So you better hurry. I think you need to hurry up and get
unknowingly. So we actually had gotten that situation handled. It was literally getting handled right in front of me. Little exterminator came out and kind of like killed like fucking 15 of these shits.
Wow.
Miro the exterminator.
So basically, I was basically in my own death match, basically.
Nice.
But wonderful. That was fun.
Well, thank you, JJ. We will see you. You said October 5th for our Bad Blood edition of the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. And
Nice.
you got to show up in a few weeks after that, because we got True Hill Heat 300 coming up at the end of October.
You got to let me know the date.
It's probably, if it's on the 5th, would be 297. So the
would be the 20,
the 26. The 26 is 300.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So
cool.
you know in advance.
Nice. I bet.
Safe travels.
Safe travels, brother.
Time to go catch this flight, y'all. Peace.
Later.
Good seeing you. We got Belle in the chat who says, "Oh, one of those alarms and a childhood memories." There you go. She knows how it is in the UK. But quick notes on AEW before we move on to last night's Rampage as well as Collision last Saturday. It was reported, we talked about last week, that Swerve Strickland and MJF were off of TV following All Out. It was reported last week that Swerve might not appear at AEW Wrestle Dream as it falls during his planned hiatus from the company. When Strickland signed a new deal that included a hiatus after his match with Hangman Adam Page at All Out. However, the Wrestling Observer newsletter now reports that Strickland will be back sooner than expected. This means that Wrestle Dream, which happens on October 12th in his hometown of Tacoma, Washington, is possible. It has not been confirmed at this time, however, if he's going to be there for sure. And then on MJF, he did not confirm that he would be back anytime soon, but he did confirm that he did sign a multi-million-dollar deal with AEW. He made a big deal about the bidding war of 2024 since 2022, pretty much. And it seemed like he made his decision at AEW Double or Nothing when he returned to the company. However, it seemed he needed to confirm the news again in a post on Twitter after a fan hinted that there was no bidding war for him. MJF noted that that was because he already quietly signed with All Elite Wrestling. He wrote, and I quote, "It's almost like MJF quietly signed a multi-million-dollar deal with an AEW one or something. Wild stuff. Also, sorry, original post got deleted. Think my fingers slipped in between takes for the movie I'm shooting. Blow me." To the fan that said that. Ibu of Wrestle Periods confirmed that MJF is taking time off from AEW TV to film an upcoming movie. So that you got two of your biggest stars that's not going to be on, at least Grand Slam this week, especially with MJF being from the New York area. And he was such a big part of last year's Grand Slam, especially with the promotion for the show. I think that even if there was a plan like multi-month hiatus for both guys, you're going to have to bring them back sooner rather than later, because AEW is going to need all the star power they need for the next couple of months as far as closing out 2024 strong on television. But good to hear that Swerve is on his way back. But what was bigger news earlier this week than, all the other big news that we've talked about already with AEW, that it seems that Mercedes Moné is responsible for the new SmackDown theme song. Let me go into this. Megan the Stallion is the new voice of the WWE SmackDown opening. Her song Never Played debuted on the show this past Friday. It actually debuted at #1 on the digital sales songs charts as well. PW Insider reports that before that happened, Megan had agreed to work on something with AEW's Mercedes Moné. This past February, Megan and Mercedes met at the Crunchy Royal Anime Awards in Japan. The two were said to be fans of one another, and that led to talks between both parties. The negotiations happened through Megan's manager, Mike B of Rock Nation, and Mercedes manager, Kevin Undergrove. Both sides eventually agreed to something. Monet actually mentioned a potential collaboration while promoting All In and had hoped to get Megan in an AEW ring. The two also had talks about doing something together in WWE back in 2021. And following Monet's interview, WWE made a deal with Megan to use her song for SmackDown. This reportedly caught Monet and her people, quote unquote, by surprise. It remains to be seen if Monet and Megan Thee Stallion will still work together. In the latest edition of her Monet Mag newsletter, Mercedes confirmed reports that they were planning to work together and felt like she should have kept quiet about it. She said, and I quote, Sports Illustrated and others reported on conversations between my advocate Kev and Megan's manager Mike B regarding her and me doing stuff at AEW. It's true. A few weeks ago in an interview, I made the mistake of teasing the idea, which made headlines. More recently, it was announced that Meg would be part of the new SmackDown theme. It could all be a coincidence, of course, but then they don't call me the Blueprint for nothing. In hindsight, I should have kept my mouth shut about it, and all you can do is live and learn. I'm flattered and honored in a way, as it proves we are clearly on the right path. While I would have loved to work with Meg and would have loved to see her work with our brand, I'm still happy for her. She's a great person and talent who will get exposure to the vast wrestling audience. Trust in this. AEW and Team Monet have a lot more brewing, so it's all good. You all will have to just wait this time to hear about it. In other Mercedes news, Fightful Select reports that a recent rumor circulating this week regarding Mercedes Moné having her own dressing room in AEW, while no one in the men's division does, is inaccurate. The report notes that Chris Jericho and the Elite have their own dressing rooms. Also, former AEW stars Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes had their own dressing rooms, along with the now retired Sting. Darby Allin has also openly in the past how Sting would let him use his personal dressing room as well. The rumor appears to be originated by Wrestle News and Steve Carrier, writing that Mercedes Moné has her own private locker room and entourage at every AEW show, noting that Saraya is unhappy about Moné. The report also claims that Britt Baker had issues behind the scenes in AEW, with Mercedes being a rumored source of her frustrations. Both Saraya and Britt Baker denied these reports. And editors note, the initial Ringside report does not mention other wrestlers in the men's division not having the private locker room perk. However, while I've seen that other websites and social media accounts citing this rumor, it couldn't figure out if it came from Wrestle News, Ringside News. Ringside News report mentions that it was a major perk from Moné, and the TBS champion recently receiving this type of preferential treatment is rubbing some of her AEW colleagues the wrong way. But they have since said no. Saraya said that Ringside News is bullshitting. Britt Baker retweeted that post as well, but that seems like a non-story more than anything. But what do you think, Krssi, about Megan Thee Stallion being the latest thing that WWE has basically taken from Mercedes? Because Mercedes says she want to work with Stardom, they go and steal Rossi away and start Marigold, and so they could take Julia. She works with Stephanie Vaquera at Forbidden Door. They immediately signed Stephanie Vaquera a month later, and now she's about to do something with Megan Thee Stallion and mentions it in the interview, and they get Megan Thee Stallion on the theme for SmackDown.
Shall we call this petty at its finest? Coincidence? I think not. I think the dots are just adding up too many places, and listen, y'all wanted to steal them from going to one side, and I guess the money talked and it was on the other side. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's definitely rigged. It's definitely sabotage, I feel like, for sure. Because even I said, wow, they got a Megan Thee Stallion for their opener for their show. I was like, that's a big damn deal. And for us to just go to USA, it's not even on like network. It's on the USA now. Like, it's not even like something that was like supposed to happen on the other network. But anywho, it's a big deal, and they definitely self-sabotage and try to put roadblocks in her way so she cannot use these things.
I would suggest Power Driver Finisher. He says, who should Mercedes work with next to help WWE? Mercedes, work with Chris Jericho. Work with Jericho.
Wow.
Great idea. I think that's a great idea. Mark, what do you think about this news with Megan Thee
Stallion? I like that idea,
being the latest between WWE and AEW?
I think that it's funny that WWE is becoming a little more reactionary to stuff that AEW is doing and trying to, what she said something about Megan. Let's go talk to Megan. And
they probably wasn't even looking for Megan.
No, I will almost guarantee they weren't. They could have cared less. Well, you're too busy with Sexy Red, but that's another thing. But seems to be a situation where how they're not going to say it out loud, but I think WWE's kind of looking over their shoulder just a little, not a ton. But when this deal gets announced, I think it's going to really make them think about what they're doing. And, it comes like the signing, going after Daniel Garcia, for example. I don't think that WWE would be going after Daniel Garcia. I mean, what are they going to do with him? But it's like, hey, we can take somebody away. This kind of stuff's starting to go on a little bit, and I'm feeling a war brewing. It maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, but this is the kind of stuff that's going on now, where it's just tiny. But this is a sign. I really do think it is.
Yep.
Great
These are little
there.
things.
Yeah. But finish off with AEW this week. You had Collision last Saturday and Rampage last night. AEW Collision last Saturday featured FTR defeating the Grizzled Young Veterans in a good main event. Post-match, you had the GYV attacking FTR until the Outrunners came down and made the save to close the show, standing tall with Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler, the best tag team in AEW today, the Outrunners. You also had Wheeler Yuta, sad Wheeler Yuta, child of divorce Wheeler Yuta, cut his first promo since the BCC betrayal of Bryan Danielson at All Out, playing up that his mind is not all there following the attack. This led to Yuta beating Anthony Henry in a solid bout after he snapped, picking up the victory here ahead of Dynamite. Bang Bang Gang beat Cage of Agony in trios action on the show. You also had the return of Yuka Sakazaki on this show as she picked up a victory over Serena Deeb in a pretty good matchup. Post-match, Yuka got into a confrontation with AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May, who attacked her from behind, but Yuka fought back and stood tall ahead of their matchup coming up at Grand Slam. And then last night you had AEW Rampage, baby. The Nick Wayne defeating Rocky Romero, Leo Rush, and Kip Sabian in the main event as Nick Wayne tries to get himself into title contention to make his father, Christian Cage, proud. Wheeler Yuta picked up yet another victory, beating the Butcher this time on Rampage. You also had Deonna Purrazzo teasing and introducing a possible new stable for herself, as she had talked about that with Taya Valkyrie, teasing it in a vignette on the show. Mark Briscoe picked up a victory over Brian Keith in a pretty good opener to the show. Post-match, the Learning Tree jumped Mark Briscoe and the rest of the conglomeration to stand tall. And finally, you had Hikaru Shida defeating Harley Cameron after an assist from Jamie Hayter, who ran off Saraya. And then post-match, Saraya challenged Jamie Hayter to a match, a Saraya Rules match at Grand Slam next week. So that match is made official probably for Collision Grand Slam on the show. And since Mark brought it up, we got to bring it up here. Corey Haynes of PW Nexus has reported that sources in WWE say that the company is chomping at the bit to sign Daniel Garcia if he were to come available when his contract is set to expire next month. As of right now, Garcia has still not re-signed with AEW, which makes me think that it's more and more likely. That's it. The fact that he hasn't re-signed yet, it just makes me believe that he's waiting for his deal to expire to hear from both sides and hear what both sides are offering. What do you think about Daniel Garcia being in a bidding war, Mark?
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Look. I'm not downing Daniel Garcia. That guy, every time I'd see him on TV, I'd be like, this guy is a professional wrestler. But then he goes out and puts on a terrific match every time he goes out. He's an incredible talent. But where does he fit in WWE? What are you going to do with him? Say this out loud. The main event at WrestleMania is Roman Reigns against Daniel Garcia. It's time for LA Knight to defend the U.S. title against Daniel Garcia. Now,
Nobody wants to see it. Sorry.
It doesn't make sense. So this is another situation where they're trying to take who they think is a main player away to hurt them, but
it's not.
But I think Daniel would be hurting himself by going over there because he's going to get buried. He's going to get buried. Now, it comes down to that big question. Do you take the money that WWE is going to throw at you, or do you take the opportunity to have a better role in the company? So Daniel's got a tough decision to make, I think, on this.
How much money are we talking?
I think that Tony Khan is probably going to offer him more money though than even WWE.
You guys see who's giving it? Yeah, I'm about to say once you see your check, the offer that they're giving you, and you're like, can I make this money elsewhere, Miro? Can you make this money somewhere else? Probably not. Probably not. So it's best that you just probably stay where you are.
Yeah, I think he should stay. I
think he should. He'll get lost in the sauce. He'll be on NXT.
Right. I mean, that's the balance. Do you take what's going to be a great check and working for WWE, and you'll still get a good check from AEW too, I'm sure.
Right.
But you're going to have a bigger role, and man, it's always that's a tough call. Mm-hmm. That's a tough call. Yeah. But Daniel Garcia doesn't seem to me to fit the WWE mold. You know, he's an AEW guy, and I think he's got a home there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
But there is someone that AEW doesn't want, which is Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is not likely to join All Elite Wrestling, according to a new report. Riddle spurred some speculation after noting in an interview that he had spoken with Tony Khan, though he had said he didn't know if Khan liked him or not. Fightful Select reports that there has been no interest from Tony Khan in bringing in Matt Riddle into All Elite Wrestling, particularly over the last several years. The report notes that AEW talent almost never works with Riddle on the independent scene, and that if it does happen, it's on a Mexican show. Riddle has spoken with TNA, as he has confirmed, and sources there have indicated they hope he can appear for the company. While Riddle has been working with MLW and NJPW, he is not currently under contract with any one promotion. What do you think about Tony Khan not being interested in Matt Riddle, Josh?
I'm gonna blame him. Like, what is he gonna bring? Like, Matt Riddle is likable, but at the same time, he's also problematic.
A liability.
You just don't want that on your brand right now. And the way he left WWE wasn't, it wasn't good. He had that scene at the airport and all that stuff happened. You sign them, you know what you're getting, and they just don't want to deal with that right now.
Yeah, and I don't blame AEW for staying away from him either. It's one of those things where he's gonna need more time to show everybody that he's straightened up his act, the rehab's over. And I felt bad for him in WWE for a long time because you're pushing the 420 with him, but the guy's got drug issues. It. So why are you having him go out and hey, I'm a 420 guy. that wasn't good for him. So, but I don't. Once again, I don't see him as a fit in AEW right now. And like I said, I think he needs some time. I think he's got to rehabilitate his image, and he rubbed some people the wrong way in WWE too. So I don't blame Tony for not biting on Matt Riddle yet.
Yeah,
you don't need him. Where are you gonna put him? What is he gonna do?
He can fight Miro.
We're just throwing Miro in there with everybody.
That's very true.
Fightful Select had one more contract update, and this time it's on Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champion.
Oh my
World
fucking
tag team
God,
champion,
I can't.
Dustin Rhodes. According to the report, Dustin Rhodes' current AEW contract is set to expire this fall. noting that it runs through September of 2024. While Rhodes currently holds multiple Ring of Honor titles, Fightful notes that his AEW contract status has not changed. Rhodes has been with the company since 2019. Earlier this year, Dustin confirmed his AEW contract is up in September, but he also wrote that doesn't mean he's done. At the time, he wrote, yes, my contract is up in September, and no, I am absolutely not done. Having the best matches of my life, and hopefully, God willing, I will get to retire on my own terms, respected with a full heart. Hopefully, negotiations go well because I am damn worth the world. Rhodes currently holds the ROH six-man tag team titles with the Von Erichs. Him and Sammy Guevara hold the ROH World Tag Team Championships, and he also works as a coach behind the scenes for AEW, specifically the women's division. And that's where I think, like, the most part of why I would want Dustin Rhodes to re-sign is because he is an important person behind the scenes. I'm not into any of him holding multiple titles in Ring of Honor, but I think he is valuable for what he brings to especially the women's division, working with them.
Yeah, Dustin, I'm friends with Stu Myrick, who does a great podcast down in Austin, and he works with the Rhodes family a lot. And Dustin is so valuable to them behind the scenes, more than out in front. Yep. But he's doing great work. He's doing great work. You can't say that Dustin's not wrestling well. It's just he's been there. It's just been a long time, but I think AEW really wants to keep him in the fold. The only temptation is, what if WWE came in and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's do something with your brother."
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think WWE will make a play at least.
Yeah, and that's like we were talking earlier about guys trying to steal people away from AEW, even if you don't really need them. Well, stealing Dustin Rhodes away would hurt them. It would hurt AEW significantly. So, I think Dustin wants to stay. I don't think he wants to get into the WWE grind. But I'd bring him back, for even if it's just a backstage role.
All right. Finally, from the converse, we go over to Ring of Honor TV on Honor Club. The show featured Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara beating Dark Order in an ROH World Tag Team Championship Proving Ground matchup. Post-match, though, they were jumped by the Cage of Agony along with the Dark Order to close the show. You had the Infantry. They picked up a victory over SAP, while Red Velvet beat Allison Kay in an ROH Women's TV title Proving Ground matchup with her brand new title with a red belt. That makes sense. Red Velvet with a red belt. And we got to wish congratulations to the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion of all time, Athena, who broke the record last Sunday, hitting 646 days as ROH Women's World Champion, surpassing Samoa Joe's legendary 645-day reign that ran from March of 2003 to December of 2004. Athena has defended the title 22 times, which is also another record. She next defends the title at Maple Leaf Pro Forge in Excellence against Giselle Shaw. In a post about the milestone, Athena wrote, "I have tried to write this a billion times and figure out the right words to say. I still don't think I know what to say, but it boils down to this. I am thankful for my minions that have supported me. I am thankful for all the trolls that give me the motivation to prove them wrong. I am thankful to every hussy I have beaten along the way to show everyone that I am the best in the world. With love and anger, Athena." Man, they'd better just finish off the story strong. Have her lose the title to Billy Starks, and then I need Athena versus Mercedes Moné next year at All In Texas, in her home state of Texas. Do it. Book it.
Wow, you just sold me on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
I'm
good.
Do it.
Yeah, but what an incredible run she's had. I mean, she got left for dead in WWE, and for her to be able to, well, they sure killed her off. That's
right. No, you're right. You're right though.
But for her to do what she's done and revitalize her career like this, it is time to get her on the main spotlight again. It really is. She's such an incredible athlete, and what she's done in Ring of Honor has been nothing short of phenomenal. Get her up there. I'm with you, man. Let's have her beat Mercedes. I'm down. I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think Athena, the sky is the limit for when she gets back on AEW television, but she's really become the face of Ring of Honor. And especially if Ring of Honor is part of this new media rights deal and they get a show like, say, on True TV or Max streaming service, a lot of that will come down to the work that Athena put in. So she is one of the most influential women's wrestlers of the modern era right now. But moving on over to WWE, and you had SmackDown last night, which featured a fabulous Williams-esque music video from where Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns face-to-face confrontation at Georgia Tech Stadium, where they agreed to have each other's back against the Bloodline at Bad Blood next month, despite Roman saying that after they are done, he is coming for the WWE Championship and that Cody is in his way in life. What a line that closed that whole segment there. You also had Kevin Owens, who was about to react and respond to this segment when the Bloodline with Tama Tonga interrupting, and he literally said that, and they attacked him. They attacked KO until DIY made the save to set up a trios main event, but Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa jumped Ciampa and Gargano, only for the Street Profits to replace them in the main event. That match ended in disqualification after the Bloodline beating up Owens, the Profits, and DIY until it was Cody Rhodes who came out to make the save. KO looked like he was going to hit Cody with a steel chair, but didn't swing, and they wound up shaking hands and hugging to close the show, despite Owens not looking like he was for Cody, who showed up really, really late to make the save, by the way. Just want to note that as well. LA Knight, he picked up a victory over Andrade in a very good opener to retain the United States Championship. Post-match, they awkwardly showed respect to one another. And then backstage, we got Carmelo Hayes, who talked trash to Andrade, leading to a pull-apart brawl between the two. You also had Bayley and Naomi defeating Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton after Bayley and Naomi double-pinned Jax. Post-match, Nick Aldis determined that both ladies got the pin, so it will be Bayley versus Naomi next week to decide who faces Nia for the WWE Women's Championship at Bad Blood on October 5th. I know. I was like, you literally promised either a number one contender or someone leaving the brand, and you gave us neither.
Neither one. So just make it a freaking triple threat match. Like, God.
WWE.
It's definitely like I'm not surprised what they're doing right now. It's definitely WWE that's on brand for them. Basically, it's definitely on brand to drag this shit out, and we're gonna do this. Whatever. Josh,
what did you think about the Cody and Roman cinematic promo?
I mean, it was cool, but I don't know. It was a little over the top for my liking.
Oh, not over the top.
I enjoyed the over-the-topness of it all. It seemed appropriate for Cody and Roman, the two biggest stars in the company.
I mean, you were right, though, that it did kind of feel like a Hype Williams music video.
I said, reference Nas Hate Me Now. Watch that and then watch that promo. It's the same thing. Same filters and everything.
Yeah. Which means, and I get WWE's going that route with like stuff like this, which I just think me personally I just have to get used to. Like, that's just what it is. It's not so much I dislike it. It's just like, all right, like this is how they're gonna do it. I just got to get used to it. Because I know they've been doing certain things on Raw too, like when it comes to like the backstage promos, like after like the segments or whatever the case may be. They've been doing that a lot more. It's just one of those things I just probably just got to get used to. This was one of them. Like the exchange itself was good. Like I like the exchange itself. Like it's building up to a third match. I like stuff like that. Like I think it's when you do things like that, it means something. So I like the exchange when it comes to it itself. But overall, I mean, SmackDown was. I mean, I felt like it was okay. DIY. I feel bad for those guys because man, they had no reaction last night.
DIY is not over right now, sadly.
Yeah, I was like,
it depends on the city. Because the other time,
I don't think it depends on the city. Only in the cities where they're from, they're over.
Oh, okay. Well, because I could have swore the last time that they was on well, never mind. Sorry.
Well, they were in Cleveland too. Remember, back in August, they were in Cleveland. That's Gargano's home field.
Okay.
Yeah, stop beating them, and making them look like clods. That might help. Just saying.
It's a lot of them, but again,
yeah, you're right.
The formula for these tag teams, their tag team division is really, really bad right now.
Good luck, Lucha Bros.
And it shouldn't be. That's the thing. It shouldn't be.
And
there's a ton of talent there.
They have so much saturated talent for tag teams. It's I don't understand how is it like drowning. It's like, but whatever. I don't know. Like you have a great division and you just make it suck. It's terrible.
Because they don't want to push anybody. Mark, what did you think about SmackDown and the Cody Roman face-to-face confrontation?
I absolutely loved it. Look, and I know that it said getting used to that, and that's getting used to actually doing a higher level of production is good. That's fantastic. Lee Fitting coming in there and taking over for Kevin Dunn, and the old ideas are going away. We get all these new cool camera shots. We get things like this that are really taking WWE's broadcast to a new level. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting to me, because what the fun part about that is too, is that now companies like AEW and TNA, everybody else are looking at that and saying, oh boy, we got to step it up now too. And you know who wins? We do. But but I absolutely loved it. I really did. I mean, a clever idea to go to Georgia Tech Stadium, and I hope they do a follow-up. They have time to do a follow-up with, somewhere where Cody won a state wrestling championship or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. Hey, Roman, let's go for a walk. In the city I live in, and doing things like that. And, like the backstage stuff that they do with the people walking in, it makes it feel like an NFL broadcast, or something like that. And it legitimizes the product, and it legitimizes us as fans that we can say, look, this isn't just somebody setting up 3 cameras and shooting a match. It's getting to be really special. So, I absolutely love that thing. I did.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. I like just the dialogue, the characters playing off of each other. Not only are you hyping up the tag team match at Bad Blood, but you're hyping up that Roman and Cody is like the standard, the number one WWE feud right now. That's the money matchup that we're all building. Yeah. Like I said it last week. Yes, it is.
Is it?
It's the money matchup. I don't care about The Rock right now. It's the money matchup right now is Roman and Cody, because they are Hulk Hogan and Macho Man in the 80s. They are Austin and Rock in the 90s. This is their 1A, 1B, and neither of these guys want to accept being 1B.
Correct. I love it.
That's why I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was over the top, very dramatic, very filtered, but I loved every second of it.
Yeah, it just had a great look and a great feel. It stood out as something different, and that's what every company needs to keep doing. I'm sure you guys, you think about this on your show. I do too. What can I do differently to spice things up and make it better? And and something like that, especially when you're coming into all these new TV deals and shifting everything around, just adds to the fun of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
which is
the element of it all. You have to.
In regards to what I said, I'm I didn't say that it's a bad thing. It's just one of those things where I personally have to get used to, because I know that there's a lot of things that Kevin Dunn did that weren't very good. But
that's an understatement.
They weren't very good. And that's me being nice about it. But I have seen a lot of things that they have done better. I like the bird eye view when it comes to like certain shots, when it comes to like the ring, like every time like when Braun Breaker's doing like the spear and he's running around the ring, I like stuff like that, like a different.
They did a great shot like that during the Andrade LA Knight match when Andrade did the double moonsault, and you literally see LA Knight because they did the overhead shot where you see LA Knight rolling out the way and Andrade perfectly hitting the standing moonsault. That was the shots are great, but we should give credit because Fightful Select did confirm that this whole production for the Cody and Roman segment was not just Lee Fitting, and this is where I was like, when I read this, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It was also Jeremy Borash. And Jeremy Borash was the guy behind all the great out-of-ring segments in TNA. He was the guy, the guy that worked with Matt Hardy for the Final Deletion back in 2016. Like, he is an expert, and he worked closely with Bruce Pritchard for the Boneyard match back in 2020 in WWE.
Oh, that's why that name sounds familiar, because of the Boneyard match. Yes, that we all had like really enjoyed and loved.
Yeah. Jeremy Borash is so good at the out-of-ring segment stuff and how they're shot and how they're put together. So I was not surprised.
I think if they did more of these things, the product could be so, like, if they invest more time into like doing out-of-ring shots and things like this to help other stories, it'll make things be a lot better for people to enjoy these 2-hour, 3-hour shows.
Oh, 3 hour.
Don't get me started. We're gonna get into
that.
I'm
about to say, can you have to talk about it, because
we're gonna get into that. We do have a super chat donation here from Vala B. Thank you once again, Vala B, for the support. He says, what the hell even was that LA Knight and Andrade moment? Andrade looked like he got little bro. Yeah, it was like LA Knight was trying to like play him like, oh, I'm gonna go for the fist bump even though I saw your hand out. I'm going to go for the fist bump. And Andrade was like, no, you're going to give me this. You're going to give me this pound. You're going to give me this pound. It was so awkward. And it was unnecessarily awkward. That's what made it kind of like, why are we doing this? And yes, Safet also noting that Rob Fee was involved in the production for the Roman and Cody segment as well. And then we also got a super chat donation here from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. He says, which match do you think we get first? Cody versus Roman or Roman versus Jacob?
You're getting Roman versus Cody first.
Roman, yep.
Yeah, I would think that Roman
makes more sense.
Roman and Cody 3 probably happens in either Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel or next year's Royal Rumble.
We gotta go there.
Yes. That gets them more money than they generate for WrestleMania.
I know. You still gotta. They sold their soul to the devil, and they still gotta keep going the fuck over there. I know. It's money. It's
all about the money. I'm gonna say Cody and Roman. What do y'all think?
I agree, Cody and Roman.
Because even so, right? You could do Roman and Jacob at a WrestleMania. I think, like, if you're getting Roman off the title picture, I think that's the best matchup you could have him with, where he's not, either going for the title or being champion. I think that's the best matchup you could do at a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know, I'm torn. It depends what their plans are with The Rock. If they're planning on Rock and Cody, then get Roman out of the way. But otherwise, give me some Fatu. I'm down.
Yeah, I've been seeing this. What Bell and Will is saying in the chat. He says Roman versus Cody maybe at Saturday night's main event, and Roman versus Jacob at Mania. Will saying, do you think they do Cody versus Roman at Saturday night main event? My big question to that is why? They're gonna sell out. They're gonna sell out that show regardless of what's the main event. And yes, it's gonna be on the most eyes that they can do, but they could just do another Cody and Roman teaming up against the Bloodline matchup there instead of blowing off one of their big money matchups that they can sell out a stadium with Cody and Roman 3. Why would I don't understand the thinking behind that to me.
I think that's getting eyeballs. You know, if you're going to be
doing, but I'm saying
if you're doing
if you want them to be in the same match, have them team up on Saturday night's main event. That's still going to get the same amount of eyeballs that them going up against each other. When you could sell tickets for a big stadium for Roman versus Cody.
I hear what you're saying, but I have a feeling that Saturday night's main event they're gonna want to put their best foot forward on this because they're going to want to keep doing it. That's not a bad idea. I hear both sides correct. You can go either way, but that would be pretty cool to hype up Saturday night's main event with Cody Roman. I could see that.
Belt, why at Crown Jewel? Because Crown Jewel is their biggest moneymaker of the year. That's why I think, and they always put on these big matches at Crown Jewel or in Saudi Arabia. They always do.
Because the Saudis say this is the match we want.
Right.
Exactly.
This is who we want. So
and they asked for it, they're gonna get it. They asked for it, they're gonna get it.
The last few Crown Jewels have been good. They've done the good stuff on those, and the last two, I want to say.
A new report has an update on Kevin Owens' contract talks. As previously reported, Owens is expected to be up at the end of the year for his contract. Fightful Select reports that Owens has been approached regarding a new contract with WWE, and some communication has been made, but that as of right now, Owens has not signed a new contract. People in All Elite Wrestling have said that the company has had interest in Owens for a long time, and if he becomes available he will be a high priority free agent for them, and that if he reaches free agency, they are expected to make an offer. WWE has recently re-signed a number of talent so far this year, including Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Natalya, Alberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, Cedric Alexander, and Nikki Cross. And Wrestling Observer Newsletter reported that WWE has aggressively approached over 15 talents for new contracts ahead of time already this year. So I think that it's very likely that Kevin Owens is going to re-sign, but Kevin Owens is on the short list of people that I think would immediately become a top guy over in AEW because Tony Khan loves him some 2000s Ring of Honor, and Kevin Owens is like one of the last remaining Infinity Stones that he can add to his gauntlet as far as 2000s Ring of Honor. So I think he would immediately, and especially considering the fact that someone like Bryan Danielson is on his way out, you have someone that can immediately fill that spot in Kevin Owens, like he did back in the late 2000s, early 2010s in Ring of Honor when Bryan left to go to WWE. Mark, what do you think about Kevin Owens' contract about to be expire, and where do you think he will end up, and where do you want him to end?
Oh, see, now you had to throw that at me. Where do I think he will end up is WWE. Where I want him to end up, a very rich man in AEW. It would be a lot of fun to see him go back there and turn Kevin loose a little bit more. The one thing, because I was a huge Ring of Honor fan, and I feel like that while Kevin has done an amazing job in WWE, I just feel like he's just being held back a little bit. You know, the character, and the viciousness. You know, that he would fit in with AEW right now. I mean, if he showed up, oh my God. You know, getting in a feud with somebody like MJF, just as an example. Wow. Or Will Ospreay. I mean, could you imagine what those matches are going to look like? So once again, this is, it's a situation kind of like what Natty had. You know, you've got a great home, but could they do better with them? Yeah. So, what's your choice? It goes back to, can you can maybe reach a bigger height in AEW, or you take the money and be in a very stable situation with WWE. I think he re-signs, but man, that would be fun. And we're talking about guys like Daniel Garcia and so on. Kevin Owens is a guy worth fighting over. Kevin Owens is a guy that's worth saying, "Here you go, baby. How many zeros you want on that check? You want like a 20 in front of all those zeros? Okay."
And he would get it too. He would get it. He would for sure get it.
Yeah,
he's worth it. He can hold it down for sure.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what Kevin does. He's got friends over there in AEW, so yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah, he's the type of guy I want to see go into free agency to just play both sides against each other and get as much money as humanly possible. I've been a Kevin Steen fan for the better part of nearly 20 years, so I want to see him get a big money contract. Krssi, same question to you. Where do you think he ends up? Where do you want him to end up?
I think he would stay with WWE, but I would love for him to go over and cross over and go over with AEW. I think he deserves this last little run. If it is not the last run, I think he can deserve like being like the Bryan, be like Danielson over there and just do the same type of MO. He doesn't have to be in everything. He could be in a group or faction or whatever and still like put on some stellar matches. He still has it in him.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, and it's been so frustrating to see him not win a championship for all these years too. I mean, that's great.
2017
got a tag title, but Kevin Owens is a
championship. Give a shit about that shit. Like,
yeah, he just cares about telling good stories. That's what Kevin cares about. You can tell he doesn't care, but it has been since 2017, not just a world title, but he hasn't had a singles title since 2017.
Yeah, I want to see him beat up LA Knight. Even though I know Sean trained here, and he's a great guy, but give me a little KO and LA Knight. That could be entertaining.
I agree. Josh, same question to you, finally capping off. Where do you think he goes? Where do you want him to go?
I think he resigns with WWE. Would I want him to go? AEW, I think he'll have a higher ceiling than AEW at this point.
Yep.
Because with KO and WWE, we've kind of just been seeing like, he's been very stagnant. Right? We haven't seen anything elevated. We haven't seen him like really bottom of the barrel, but we haven't seen the world champion Kevin Owens that we had before. And it's been, I think, far too long. But if he's in a situation, if he's comfortable with it and he wants to stay, he gets paid for it. By all means, I think either way he's gonna get paid. So the money is not the issue. It's just a matter of what he wants to do. Like, does he want to? If he puts his body less on the line, he'll be in WWE. AEW will also be a better scheduling, but I think he'll have better matches there. And there's more of a potential of him being a world champion up there because he's very likable, and especially like if you put his name back to Kevin Steen, I mean that's gonna sell. That alone is gonna sell because people have been dying for that too.
Give me the old theme song too.
Yeah.
That theme song was awesome.
Yeah, because every time they re-released the Kevin Steen shirts, every time they re-released it, like when Pro Wrestling Tees did like a week release, it was always a sellout. So there's something there. I mean, like, regardless, we know wherever he wants to go, he's gonna get paid regardless. But if he's very content with staying with WWE, by all means, I'm not gonna be upset about it.
Yeah. Fight Steen, fight. That's what it is.
Exactly. Bring Sammy with him. Bring back El Generico too.
Oh man, Sammy Zayn. He's loyal though. I could see him.
Yeah, he's a loyal. He's not staying.
I think
he's not leaving.
I think both guys are re-signed. I think that Kevin Owens is definitely going to re-sign with WWE, but just the potential of him in an AEW would just be amazing to watch.
Oh wow! Somebody in the chat box just said Kevin Dean versus Eddie Kingston.
Kevin Steen versus they faced back in the day, but now it would be different. Just
a tad.
But if you're talking about Kevin Steen possibly coming over to AEW, Kevin Owens re-signing with WWE, one team that is leaving AEW to come to WWE is apparently Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo, the Lucha Bros. PW Nexus and WrestleVotes Radio both have reported the Lucha Bros have signed a deal with WWE. The pair have reportedly signed multi-year deals and will go straight to the main roster. It was noted that the signing is likely a quote-unquote done deal, and WWE has started to produce masks, t-shirts, and more promotional materials. The Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that Penta was expected to leave AEW for some time. Phoenix leaving with him means that Tony Khan has let him out of his deal early, as he was out for a year due to injuries, which added time to his contract. Ibu of WrestleParis has confirmed that news that Rey Fenix is being let out of his deal early. And I think that this is just like a total opposite of the Miro situation, where Tony Khan is letting him out of his deal due to how much Rey Fenix has put up toward AEW, how much he has worked. He was one of the rare talents that raised his hand to work during the whole pandemic era when they were running shows out of daily space and it was optional. He was coming over from Mexico to work on those shows and still be a prominent force, a featured act on AEW television. He was so loyal to them and fought, through injuries and whatnot. So I'm happy to see that Tony Khan kind of let him out of the deal early so he can get a bigger opportunity in WWE due to, AEW, like we said before about this whole situation, they probably did as much as they saw they could do with the Lucha Bros. So I'm ready to see the Lucha Bros over in WWE, but it says a lot about Tony Khan's relationship in comparison to his relationship with Miro. And while there's a question that he will be released from his deal after requesting a release, it sees how easy it was for Rey Fenix to get out of his deal in just a position there. Mark, what do you think about the Lucha Bros in WWE?
Terrible. Oh, sorry.
Because every luchador tag team that's gone to WWE, it's worked out so well.
That part. That part, Mark. Say it again. Say it louder for the people in the back, please.
I have concerns about it, and their style of wrestling, I don't know how it's going to play in WWE. And plus, the way WWE seems to still treat tag teams sometimes, I don't know if this is the best move for them. But I do get that maybe they've done all they could do in AEW and they want to take a different direction. I'm a little torn on it. I get it, but it's a wait and see for me on this.
That's fair. That is fair. Krssi, you sound like you have an opinion about this as well.
Yeah. Krssi.
Everything. I don't need to even say much because Mark said all of it. Like when you said it, I was like terrible. Like, and I didn't even mean it. I was thinking it, and it just blurted out. And I was really sorry that I had to say that out loud but that's just really what it is. Like they're not going to be able to do what they have been doing. They're going to get dumbed down. They'll probably get thrown in with the other Rey Mysterios and Santos Escobar, Andrade. Like it's not going to be. I don't know.
The Mexican mid-card vortex.
Yeah, because it has been, and every time they put a decent tag team together of luchadors, it's kind of gone. Boom. It's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, these two guys are very special talents, so it may be a little bit different with them. But like I said, I just wonder if they're going to have to tone it back. I still think back to their matches with the Young Bucks, and those matches are not a type of match that I don't know if WWE would want them to have. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, would I love to see like the Usos against those guys or the Street Profits? Yeah, it'd be fun. But still, but I want them to be able to do what they do and get a really good push. And they should be World Tag Team Champions if they go there. But I'm not counting my chickens on that one.
I think they will. I think they will. The fact that they're already coming up with like merchandise and masks for them and stuff. I think I have more faith than the rest of y'all, but we'll see what do you think, Josh, about all this?
I also wanted to add, it was reported by Mike Johnson, John Escudero, our good friend from Dirt Sheet Radio, did post it yesterday that there was a big update with the Lucha Bros. So as of right now, they're actually still under contract with AEW. They haven't signed anywhere. Legally, they can't sign anywhere. That's the report that I'm getting. And this was after the fact. This was after the report that they said they resigned. That they signed with WWE the day before. So apparently, according to Mike Johnson, they're still under contract with AEW. And there's no possible way that they sign anywhere else because legally they can't sign anywhere as of yet. That was the report that I got yesterday. So doesn't mean that they're not going to WWE. I think it's going to end up happening. That's something to keep in mind that people are waiting for them. Right now, legally, they can't jump ship yet. But I think it's going to end up happening. I think the signs are very clear to me that they're going to WWE. And I know people were trying to use the whole like merchandise and the mask thing. What people also got to realize too is that the Lucha Bros actually own the licensing for the mask. That's why Pro Wrestling Tees wasn't doing them, and I think Pro Wrestling Tees has a certain production when it comes to like what they sell. I don't think they had the production to do masks. Obviously, with WWE being under Fanatics, they have the production, they have the merchandise to do it, they have the power to do that. So I think once they go over, their licensing is probably be like a lease, kind of like as long as they're in WWE, they're gonna produce merchandising when it comes to stuff like that. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. And then also like Pentagon was also promoting something else. So they haven't jumped ship yet. Just to keep that in mind, but I think it's gonna end up happening.
Yeah. What happened to all this tampering stuff, by the way?
Oh, that doesn't exist.
That
doesn't exist.
It never happens.
I mean, hey, every time I talk about it, people get defensive and people say, hey, Young Bucks are friends with Cody Rhodes, and that's tampering. I mean, I was like, I don't think that's tampering, bro. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, you could be a pal.
Said hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Harlem.
That's Mark. That's Josh and Krssi.
What names?
That's it. Krssi, Josh, and Mark.
That.
That's Krssi.
What's that?
That's Josh.
What's that?
That's Mark.
What's that?
That's us.
What the names?
What's your name?
Hanan and Dada.
Oh, okay. All right.
What the names?
You said the names.
Hanan and Dada.
Yeah. And say send super chats to Harlem and Dada.
Send super chat with Hanan and Dada.
Boom. God, I should try that. Except my daughter's just about 16 now, so she's not quite as tiny cute.
Yeah.
She's cute in her own way.
Exactly. They're still young enough. They're still young. But yes, I'm interested. I'm interested to see what the Lucha Bros are gonna do in WWE. Like Vala B said in the chat, it is interesting because they are the antithesis of the WWE house style, but that might adjust, and I think they're going to make and move a lot of money. Yeah, they're going to be merch movers for sure with the masks, t-shirts, designs, stuff like that. So I'm optimistic about Lucha Bros.
When it comes to that again, like going, having them lease their, their the trademarks to the mask for Fanatics, it makes no sense. Again, it's going to be it's going to move a lot of money, right? It's going to move that. So it made sense. I know like there was criticism over the years of like, oh, why AEW never did this, never did that. That's because Lucha Pros had, they have the rights to their
rights to sign it up.
when it comes to that. And then I think also another company in Mexico was also like they also were like doing like the merch for that. So it was one of those things where it's like a little complicated. Like I get it, but it was a little when it comes to their licensing, it's very complicated. But once they make the jump to WWE, it's going to be a lot easier because Fanatics is probably going to be a lot easier to deal with because Fanatics just cares about money and it's going to be good for them.
Absolutely. That's what I'm all about. People getting paid.
Yeah.
We did have an update this week on AJ Styles. He has been off of television since Clash at the Castle when he took the loss to Cody Rhodes in an I Quit matchup. Fightful Select reported this week that AJ Styles is healthy but just isn't being used on WWE TV. Since Clash at the Castle, Styles has been busy working a match for Pro Wrestling Noah and participating in select WWE house shows. As of this writing, it's unclear when he will return to WWE television. I mean, why can't you come up with an idea for AJ Styles?
That's a good question.
I'm just saying that.
Are we really having this conversation now? Did they come up with anything beforehand?
Not really. But he did deliver against Cody in that spot. So I would think that after that, you would come up with some ideas to use AJ Styles.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, I knew this was kind of going to happen. I mean,
even
before that, they weren't really using him, and then they implemented him as like the, what do you call that? As like the filler for Cody's title reign. I love AJ, but I mean, he's at a point in his career where it's like he's not that guy anymore.
Understandable. Get your check. Get that money, man. Fightful Select did also report that Charlotte Flair is still not clear to return to the ring after suffering multiple injuries last year and may not be for a while. It is believed that it will be some time before she is able to return, as her injuries were described as severe. She tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus in December of last year. At the beginning of the year, WWE sources believed that Flair would not wrestle in 2024 due to the severity of her injuries. In February, it was reported she was ahead of schedule, but it was still too soon to put a timetable on her return. While she's out of action, there have been reports of creative plans for her getting involved with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton upon her return. However, a WWE source noted that it's unlikely any plans would be made until she was cleared. So hoping for the best and a speedy recovery for Charlotte Flair, because she does seem like a natural person to put against like Nia Jax as Queen of the Ring and Tiffany Stratton as Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't know it was like her knee injury was that bad. She tore 3 major muscles. That's meniscus alone takes as much time as the ACL. So it's like, damn. To get both of them torn at the same time. Oh boy.
Sucks.
Yeah. There's no stability. Basically your knee was kind of swinging around with. That's about a 14, 16 month recovery. Because I know Derrick Rose had the same thing. Remember when Derrick Rose had it the first time? That's basically what happened. That's about 14, 16 months. That's about a year and a half. So yeah, and the way she wrestles too, she's got to come back 100%. There's no screwing around with that one. So do you guys miss her?
I kind of I kind of do, but it's like
I mean, I do.
I would say yes.
I feel the same way.
I'll be honest. Becky only been going for like 5 months. I miss her more.
No, that's true. No, I do. Because I felt like Becky was doing not only more, but ever since like Becky came back from like her, having a baby, she's been like a real big, like not only improved in the ring, but she was a real big workhorse, and she was that main person you could fill in, right? Like when Rhea got injured, she was the filler to win the title and then to put Liv over. She was that kind of talent, and that's been missing in my opinion. That's been missing more. Somebody like that more than like Charlotte, because Charlotte, she's incredible in the ring, but the problem with Charlotte is like every time she's in the program, it was either for chasing the title or she's a champion and then chase the title again. So it's like one of those things where it's like you're not really doing more. you're
They're,
stuck.
the company is incapable of putting her in a storyline that doesn't involve the title.
Yeah, and they did that with Becky. Remember, Becky went like almost 2 years without the title, and she was doing like other stuff.
Becky was feuding for the NXT championship last year, and then she had a 6-month rivalry with Trish Stratus that had really nothing to do with the title. Like at least they had more creativity with Becky.
Yeah, and I think that's where. Yeah, and I think that's where it becomes like more. I could see when you said that you miss Becky more because she was in those kind of storylines. She was being significant. Not going after the title, but she was being significant. And then by the time it came back to the title picture, it meant something when when her and Rhea faced each other.
Give me Charlotte and Julia. Now that would reignite some interest in Charlotte. She needs a feud that, at least you guys said, away from
the meaningful,
title, but is meaningful and is going to be intense. And it's not going to be like, oh, here's Ronda Rousey or something like that. Give me something that's going to matter for her and get people invested in her again. So it'll be great when she's back, though.
Agreed there. We do have a super chat donation here from Vala B. Thank you so much, Vala B. Once again, he says, my gut feeling is that AJ is writing out that Death Rebel contract so he doesn't have to walk out to that dog water theme he has right now. Yeah, that new theme sucked in comparison to You Don't Want None. You don't want none was like a all-time great theme song, and then they gave him that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of on AJ. AJ did. That's kind of on AJ's. He did pick it out. So I mean, yeah. So I mean that's more on AJ than Duff, because I think Duff Rebel. I mean, I think we all know where we're at with Duff Rebel. But once you pick it out, and it's like it is what it is. Like you pick it out, that's on you, bro. I'm not gonna feel bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's making 7 figures, so he could say, I don't want that Death Rebel thing.
He's fine. AJ is fine. Like
what AJ needs to do? AJ needs to get involved in this TNA crossover. That's what they need to do with AJ Styles. At least a little invasion angle to TNA. That would be. People would be getting reignited with AJ again and excited, and it would certainly excite the TNA fans too. I mean, that's money waiting to get printed.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT in TNA, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in one of the biggest stories of the week, WrestleVotes Radio also reported that when WWE moves to Netflix in January, it is expected that SmackDown will turn into a 3-hour program that would begin on January 3rd. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer asked WWE about it and was told they are open to discussions about the run times of both Raw and SmackDown, but nothing is final at this time. Both Raw and SmackDown will be on the USA Network until the end of the year, and Raw begins streaming on Netflix starting January 6th. But, oh my God, I was like, can I kill myself now so I don't have to sit through 3 hours of both shows? Both shows at 3 hours? And
I can't do it.
SmackDown's roster sometimes struggles to give us 2 hours of content. Do not tell me they're going to have the same roster and you're going to try to stretch it to 3 hours? And it's all about ad revenue money. So yeah, Dave Meltzer came up with it said WWE said nothing is final. This is gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. I'm just gonna take the Band-Aid off. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. It's happening. This makes sense for USA to recoup on the money that they paid to bring SmackDown over. A 3rd hour of ad revenue is the best way to recoup on that money.
Well, the good news is there's a report that was followed up on that, and when I was doing my show prep, that they are saying that this move to 3 hours is only for a period of 6 months before the show then moves back to 2 hours of June.
I don't believe it.
Look, all I'm saying, that's what the report said.
I know.
So it may only be temporary, but God, 3 hour shows are just, they're too.
I saw that report too. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even mention it, Mark, because I don't believe that at all. Once they see the amount of money, this is a USA Network move. This is not a WWE move. If this was a WWE move, then I would believe, oh, it's just 6 months of test run. Great. No, this is for USA to recoup on the money that they paid to bring SmackDown over. Third hour is ad revenue in USA Network's pocket. That's why this is good. If it happens and they're saying, oh no, this is just a 6 month deal, watch when the 6 month comes, they be like, we're going to 3 hours full time, guys. Surprise.
Make it 4. Make it 4. You know what? Do like 205 live. Bring that back. Put speed on for
a Friday night though to 11 o'clock.
Let's do it.
He said put speed on. You gonna put how many matches for speed?
12.
You're gonna put. I think it's like 20 matches at this point for speed. You know?
Oh my God! Just go for it. Go for it.
No,
4 or 5. You know, let's go all SmackDown all night.
No.
I mean, yeah, 3 hours. I mean, I personally don't like it, but I mean, I know why they went to the 3 hours when they did Raw. It's because of the money they were getting. They were getting a lot of money because of that extra hour. And the only reason why they're doing 2 right now for Raw starting in October is because that was the agreement. Because WWE needed a network to to shoot their shows because of the Netflix move. Technically, their deal with USA would have ran out like the ending of this month, but they needed a temporary home. So USA is doing them a favor, but it's only 2 hours. That's the only reason why that's happening. Even if they make the jump to Netflix, they technically wouldn't need the third hour, and I think that's also going back to 3 hours because they already got their money. Like they're already getting $5 billion over the 10 years, but I feel like it's going to be marketable. And I think if Netflix wants the third hour, they're gonna accommodate the networks before what the company wants because they're getting the money from the networks and all that stuff. But SmackDown or the 3 hours, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that was a good point about being on Friday night too. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough.
I see a whole lot of bloodline segments.
Start at 7. If you're going
that would be the smart case. Start it at 7 because if you do it 8 o'clock, there's no way. There's no way.
We're gonna be seeing 7. We're gonna be seeing like 7 bloodline segments. For SmackDown.
No, it's gonna be Rock and Roman starting doing a full hour of promo and pantomiming. But speaking of 3 hours, WWE Raw this week, they did 1.509 million viewers. The show featured CM Punk kicking off the show with arguably his best promo of the year, getting serious by promising blood and hyping up his Hell in a Cell matchup against Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. You also had Io Sky and Bianca Belair put on one of the best WWE Women's TV matches of the year as Io picked up the win over Belair in an excellent bout. The Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough beat New Day in a solid bout to retain the WWE World Tag Team Championships. Post-match, Xavier Woods got pissed with Kofi for being distracted and not telling him that he asked LWO to help him out to further this whole New Day dissension we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Ludwig Kaiser interrupted Sami Zayn, who once again issued a World Heavyweight title challenge to Gunther. This led to Imperium beating down Zayn until Zayn was able to get the better of Kaiser to set up a singles match between the two next week. Jey Uso had a face-to-face promo with Braun Breaker ahead of their Intercontinental title match next week on Raw, with Jey standing tall after insulting Braun's NFL career and hitting him with a spear. And then finally, you had Damian Priest defeated Dominic Mysterio in the main event. Post-match, the Judgment Day jumped Priest and Rhea Ripley. Jey Uso attempted to help, but got caught with a spear from Braun Breaker before Balor delivered 3 coup de grace for Judgment Day to stand tall. They heard you talking shit about Judgment Day, and they stood tall 2 weeks in a row, Josh.
That's good. That's good. That means they're watching us. So
No longer bumps.
I mean, there's still bumps because Dominic did lose the match. So I mean, that's just I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Mark,
He lost.
what do you think?
He lost. I'm just saying.
What have you thought about the CM Punk Drew McIntyre program that is about to culminate in Hell in a Cell coming up at Bad Blood? And any thoughts on Punk finally getting serious for once? He didn't start the promo with, "Hey, we're in Portland, Oregon, and it's a great night to be in Portland on a Monday." I hate that shit so much. This promo I enjoyed way, way more than all his past promos over the last couple of months. What did you think, Mark?
Yeah, very, very good promo. About time he pulled his head out of his ass and cut a good promo in WWE. But I got to be honest with you. They ruined this for me with that friendship bracelet thing. They really did. I was talking about SummerSlam on my show and was saying, that should be the main event. They've got this match so hyped up, and now they're fighting over a friendship bracelet. And it just, I don't know. It's kind of like you take the cute girl home and you turn out there's things that you didn't know, and it lets you down. You know what I mean? I just, you don't want to. I don't know. It'll be a fun match, but the feud kind of lost it with me when they were fighting over that bracelet. It's like, why? CM Punk's supposed to be the best wrestler in the world. He's super intense. Drew's super intense, and we're fighting over some beads. What the? No, no. Especially beads that were down Drew McIntyre's shorts. I'll pass.
Thank you. That was the key.
By the way, did you notice I think they might have pulled them off, but WWE started making those.
Yeah, they
did.
pulled it off. They pulled it off, and then they made ones that have CM Punk's name instead of AJ and Larry.
Yeah, and it was funny. Just as a side note on that, I was actually talking.
Is the bracelet even real? Like, what did a fan make that for him?
Yeah.
The fan got mad. The fan got mad at them.
As they should. Like, come on. Like I put in my time.
The fan. I mean, to be honest with you, she handled herself well. Like the way. Basically, she just called them out. Basically, she was saying like, "Hey, that they basically reached out to her, but there was no mention of them like making merchandise off of it. I guess they reached out to her saying like, thank you about like something about like the storyline. They wanted to thank her for that, but they didn't mention nothing about like, hey, we're planning to do this. What do you think?" Like they basically just did their shit on their own, and I think that's where she was like, she wished they just would have told her.
Right.
I could send you a text message that I sent to Phil Stamper out at Pro Wrestling Revolver when she started talking about the bracelet, and I said, Phil, she should be making a call to CM Punk. This woman should be trademarking it and making CM Punk bracelets, or at least doing something to market herself and her business. She could have made a ton of money. And instead she's like, oh, thank you, WWE. Thank you. And I'm just sitting there like, WWE's going to have these bracelets out in 3 weeks. Well, it took them 5.
Fair. Yeah, it did.
So, it was on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's crazy? Like, that you mentioned that, because I think people were saying that too. People were like, they kind of felt like they were kind of taking advantage. It kind of felt like they were taking advantage of a child, even though she's not a child. But you can tell like she doesn't have the mindset of like trying to make money because she's a fan. Yeah. But like anybody like us, we would have been on that. We're like, no, I'm gonna try to make my money. And I think they try to take advantage of her when it comes to that. She might not see it that way, but it's like on the outside looking in, I mean, it was very obvious what they were doing when it came to that situation.
Yeah, and that sucked. I felt, do a revenue deal with her and share it a little bit,
So it was up there and they pulled it down, basically.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
And then they pulled it back up, but they changed it. They
didn't put
AJ and Larry's name, but instead CM Punk's name on it.
And it's like, oh wait, that makes it so much better. Like it's the same damn design.
Yeah,
it's the same damn design.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I felt bad for that. I felt bad for that woman, but at the same time, she should have jumped. I'd have had a website up in
That's true, yeah.
the next morning.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I think even Drew. I think Drew even responded to her too on Twitter.
Yeah. I didn't mention, but the Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman segment from Raw was probably one of my favorites. Them just beating the crap out of each other is bringing back like Braun Strowman 2017 vibes.
He threw a man.
Throw me.
He threw a man. He threw a man.
Oh, he threw a dude. He yeeted a dude when yeet used to mean something else. But WWE this week, they announced that them and NBC on Tuesday announced the return of Saturday night's main event.
Yeah!
Saturday night's event will return to NBC and air in prime time on Saturday, December 14th. Tickets for the event go on sale on Friday, September 20th. The show will air live on NBC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and will be simulcast on Peacock. The return of Saturday night's main event will be held at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, where the very first edition of the event was held. PW Insider reports that the NBC broadcast will run for 2 hours in length. The show will air live from 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. Additionally, PW Insider notes that the special will air live and not via tape delay on the West Coast. Also, PW Insider reports that WWE will be holding Saturday night's main event on December 14th, will not affect WWE's longtime tradition of the December 26th live event at Madison Square Garden. The report notes that WWE has the December 26th MSG show scheduled on its calendar and will reportedly be announced soon. The return of Saturday night's main event is said to not be replacing the post-Christmas event at MSG, and this will give New York area 2 big events in the month of December, now as opposed to 1. So I guess they're gonna push this big because on NBC that's a big deal. But I'm saying, guys, I don't know about Cody and Roman. I think that matchup should be on a pay-per-view. Y'all just saying about Will Ospreay and Ricochet and Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson, but now y'all want Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the biggest match in WWE.
I never said I wanted that on there.
No, but I see people in the chat are saying.
Okay.
We got to keep the same energy.
I'm down. I mean, this is a big deal, and for somebody that grew up watching Saturday night's main event, Justin Ventura is going to be there. I mean, this is a big nostalgia deal for fans, and I think they're going to get a huge number. I mean, it's a hell of an opportunity for them to put something out there that I think everybody is just going to go nuts over.
Is it confirmed that he's going to be there? Like, is it confirmed that just Ventura is going to be in commentary?
No, but he's working with the company again, so it's just assumed.
Yeah, why would you not bring him back? I mean, I'm just waiting to hear Animotion and seeing that neon sign come up. And, maybe we might get
I think it's one of those things where it'll be a good thing, but the way that Jesse is, it's one of those things where he might get off track sometimes. Because I noticed that with his talk, like when he does like interviews or anything, I don't know if he really wants.
You bring him for a match, not the whole show.
Yeah, I would say a match because he is. I think he's 70, right? He's like right. He's like 70. But I mean, I don't know where his mindset is at. I mean, it would be cool to see, especially like to see if he still got it. I think he could bring some good, some good value. I just don't know like how much he knows about the current wrestling scene because he has admitted that there's a lot of it he doesn't watch. So that's something he would have to like definitely like look into.
Yeah, but if he's there, I mean, like I said, I think this is going to be such a trip for people in my age group to get a Saturday night's main event. God, you know what? AI Gorilla Monsoon's voice in. Somebody else can do the commentary, but have it come out and sound like Gorilla.
Please do. Please do, because my wife will get paid. Please do. Please do. Pay my wife. Pay my wife and their family. I would love that.
Yeah, but this is going to be a lot of fun. So, but being on NBC, I mean, this is I think back to the biggest broadcast of professional wrestling history, which was a Saturday night's main event. Could they pull something to strike magic again and do something that would really push them forward? Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, and I'm not saying they should do it, but Cody and Roman would not be a bad option for that Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, the company's hotter than it's ever been, so they have an opportunity to score a big rating on NBC. So it's definitely something we're going to keep our eye on as the months come, and it's pretty much going to be like the pay-per-view for the month of December because they don't run a traditional pay-per-view anymore in December. So that's going to be the big show for that month. As previously reported, former WWE World Champion Sheamus was rumored to be close to signing a new multi-year deal with the company. And on Monday's edition of the Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee, who is currently on a hiatus from WWE, announced that Sheamus has officially signed a new contract extension with WWE. PW Insider reports that Sheamus' new deal runs 5 years through the fall of 2029, and the 46-year-old Sheamus has been with WWE since 2009, so another big contract renewal for WWE. And then in probably the most interesting news bit that we got from WWE this week, WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi shared a cryptic message earlier this week on social media asking for prayers for his son, WWE superstar Jimmy Uso. Rikishi wrote, "Dear God, for strength and health to continue. Hashtag Jimmy Uso. Hashtag WWE. Hashtag Bloodline. Stay prayed for my boy Jonathan Fatu." The meaning of Rikishi's message is currently unknown. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp later reported an update stating that people in WWE have spoken to Jimmy Uso, who has said that he is fine. Sapp added that there is no other details or content beyond that. Uso has been sidelined from WWE TV since April due to injury following WrestleMania 40. He lost to his brother Jey Uso at the event, and the injury kept him out of the draft pool for this year's WWE draft. So maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something that comes up later, but Rikishi has been weird all year when it comes to
That is very true. He's been all over the place with maybe saying some things he shouldn't be saying. So
wasn't he upset about Jay's booking? Wasn't he like recently upset about Jay's booking?
Yes, yes, he was. He was not pleased at all. So yeah, but hopefully everything's fine with Jay. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, let's get these Usos back together. It's time.
Please, before Survivor Series. WWE NXT, we close off WWE this week. They did 677,000 viewers. The show was up in the ratings for its highest viewership since April, and a lot of that had to do with CM Punk appearing on the show, only to be interrupted by NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, who told Punk that she should have been a Drew McIntyre fan instead of a fan of his. This led to Julia coming out to intimidate Perez ahead of their title bout on October 1st, the CW premiere. The show kicked off with Ethan Page and Trick Williams contract signing for their NXT championship match that ended with Page delivering the Eagles' edge through a table. This led to Pacers guard, all-star guard, Tyrese Halliburton, Josh's favorite basketball player, conducting the signing in the main event, only to introduce Punk as the special guest referee for Ethan Page versus Trick Williams in Chicago on October 1st. Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander beat the No Quarter Catch Crew in tag team action. Post-match, Randy Orton revealed he will be appearing on the October 8th edition of NXT in St. Louis, and he will face Javon Evans there. It was also reported by Wrestling Observer Newsletter. They reported that the October 8th episode of NXT in St. Louis has changed venues due to disappointing ticket sales. The event was set to take place at the Enterprise Center. There was only 2,196 tickets out for a venue that holds 14,000. Instead, the show which features Randy Orton versus Javon Evans, will now run at the Factory at the district of Chesterfield, Missouri. The building could hold 2,300 and is set up for could hold.
Can you read that again?
It's actually less.
It's at the Factory at the district in Chesterfield, Missouri, and that building holds 2,300 seats, and is set up for 1,715 currently, and there are currently 1,129 tickets out. WWE is offering refunds due to the location change, and will put tickets on sale for the remaining seats this week.
What? I can't. What? WWE doesn't sell everything out?
Not NXT, not
What?
the third brand, not the third brand.
What?
Apparently.
There's
I
no
think right now,
fillers at any WWE event. Oh, I'm stunned.
Yeah, because right now, I think from what I saw too, like I saw like they had about 1,700 tickets available. I think only like 1,100 have sold. And they have like a VIP section that hasn't done well at all either. So,
God, they should just come back out here to the.
I just don't think St. Louis was a good spot. I think if you're doing something like that for NXT, like St. Louis is not a good spot for that. I think that was their big mistake. I think if you would have done Philly, if you would have done Philly, you would have sold tickets.
You would have done Vegas too. Just saying.
Yeah. Hey. That's not the best look, but we'll see. Finishing off what we missed, Stardom had their big event last Saturday. That show featured Tam Nakano defeating Micah in a great main event to retain the World of Stardom Championship. Natsupoi beat Hazuki in a splendid bout to retain the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Mayu Iwatani and Hanan defeated Azumi and Miyu Sakazaki of Neo Genesis in tag team action. But post-match, you had AEW's own Timeless Tony Storm, who challenged Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship coming up on October 5th. So Timeless Tony Storm making her return to Stardom next month. And then finally, you had TNA Impact. That show featured Alicia Edwards calling out Masha Slamovich, who spoke English for the very first time on TNA programming before getting jumped by Tasha Steelz until Jordan Grace made the save. However, the Systems, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers came down to give the heels the advantage until the Hardys made the real save for the babyfaces. This led to Masha Slamovich teaming with the Hardys to pick up the victory over Tasha Steelz and the System in a pretty fun main event to the show. Joe Hendry set his sights on the TNA World Championship following his victory over Josh Alexander at Victory Road, only to be interrupted by Frankie Kazarian. This led to Nick Nemeth coming out saying that he's looking at both men as future challengers before Santino confirmed that it will be Joe Hendry versus Kazarian next week to determine the number one contender. And in what was a bloody, intense Texas death match, it was Mike Santana who picked up the victory over JDC, only to be laid out by none other than Moose in the post-match. So Moose and Santana seem like they are on a collision course coming up for TNA as we near Bound for Glory. So some good stuff from Stardom, some good stuff from TNA this week. But you know how we wrap it up with Krssi Luv's favorite segment of the show, the best and worst of the week, as well as match of the week. For Mark joining us for the first time, we got to let you know how we do this. So best of the week is who you thought had the best week in wrestling, whether it be picking up a big win, winning a championship, or making some money. It could be any number of things. And who had the worst of the week is usually just anything. It could be anything. It could be in kayfabe. It could be asking for your release and not having it granted, which, spoiler alert, that's probably my worst of the week. So yes, my best, the best of the week. Best of the week, I'm gonna give it to. Even though what Josh said about them maybe possibly still being signed to WWE, but they're about to make some money, so I'll give it to the Lucha Bros. Even though it's not confirmed yet, I'll give it to the Lucha Bros because they're going to make loads of money in WWE. But my worst of the week is the juxtaposition to that, Miro, for requesting his release after not giving us much over the last couple of years. Krssi, your best and worst of the week.
Best of the week goes to AEW. They have these potential streamings. They've been doing what they need to do. So I'm going to go with them. Worst, of course, is Miro.
Josh?
I'm going to go with the Lucha Bros with an asterisk on it just because they haven't signed yet. But, I mean, it's good news for them. Like I said before, I'm never going to be against talent not making money. And this is a new venture for, for the Lucha Bros, especially Pentagon, ages ago, WWE wanted him, and now they're finally able to see, he's going to be WWE property. So that's going to be interesting to see when it happens. The worst, Miro, wait all this time to ask for your release, and it's like, okay, bro, like, okay, cool.
I'm going to say best of the week is Cody and Roman for that, and WWE for that great promo that they cut. The worst of the week, the worst of the week. I'm going to call a tie between Miro and CM Punk because Roxanne Perez just scolded him. My girl, that's the way to do it. So yeah, Miro and CM Punk.
Oh yeah, and I also wanted to ask too, like, what's up with HBK and like all these like special guest referee stipulations? Like, I'm like kind of over it at this point.
He thinks it's the 90s again.
One of them
like, I'm just over it at this point. I'm just like, bro, again, like you just had one, like again.
They used to do it every week in the Attitude Era. He's just following the Attitude Era. But
I would say they need people. They want people to watch that product, so that's why they bring all the other people on there. That's just real. It's really what it is. It's strategic, on their part.
Well,
no, I mean, I know, like that part I get. But it's just like, again, like. All right, like, but then also I have been saying that about HBK. I'm like, he follows his formula of like, hey, I used to do this. Let's see if that works now. Like, that's why I find his like booking and creativity suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still believe in Joe Henry.
I like Joe Henry. He's gonna be a Comic-Con too. So he's gonna be a Comic-Con.
And then we got matches of the week. So this is any 3 to 5 matches that you saw this week that you want to show love to for Mark, who's joining us. I usually have 10 because I watch way too much wrestling, but I only have 5 this week, guys. I only have 5 this week. Only have 5 this week.
I would hope so because it was kind of like a quiet week when it comes to like.
It was a slow week. It was a slow week. Number 5 from Stardom's Nabai Grand Fight. Micah versus Tam Nakano for the World of Stardom Championship. Also from that show, number 4 for me, Natsupoi versus Hazuki. Number 3 for me this week, Ricochet versus Beast Mortals from AEW Dynamite. Number 2, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair from Raw. That was just excellent matchup they had. But number 1 for me this week, the main event from Dynamite, Ospreay, Fletcher, and Takeshita versus the Elite. Takeshita, push him to the moon. That's my guy. Please push Takeshita to the fucking moon. Krssi, matches of the week.
Matches of the week. I didn't watch it live, but I did see it on YouTube, which was Don Callis family versus
the Elite.
The Elite. Thank you, friend. Number 2, I would give it to Queen Aminata, and even though it ended in a stupid draw, but whatever.
Thank you. Yuka Sakazaki versus Mariah May and Serena Deeb.
Yes, and number 1 is going to go to Io and Bianca.
Josh, what about you?
I have Io and Bianca number 3. Number 2, I have Ricochet versus Beast Mortos, which I thought that was also Ricochet's best match in AEW so far.
But he only been there.
He was able to do a lot more.
Hey, it was much better than his last 2, where he gave up like 50% of the matches in that, 50% of the match in those 2.
Yeah, because with Ricochet, I feel like he's holding on to another gear. I think he's just waiting. I think he's waiting for that, to break out. And then number 1 was the main event from Dynamite.
Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna show Santana and the boys some love. That was a great match on TNA.
Yes.
Can't forget that one. And I'll go the Mortos Ricochet match, and then Io and Bianca. My top 3.
Good list. Some familiar matches from all 3 of us as well. And we're going to close out this week with rapid fire predictions for AEW Grand Slam. I know Krssi Luv will be live there, front row. I'm going to be looking for her on Wednesday night in the front row. Arthur Ashe Stadium. So we got 6 matches kind of already announced. 5 of them confirmed. First, you got for the AEW World Trios Championships. It's going to be Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus Private Party and a tag team partner to be announced. We don't know if Isaiah Cassidy is going to be a part of that match to get hammered in the hand. I'm going to go with the Combat Club to win that one. Mark?
Yeah, I got it. If they hadn't smashed Private Party's hands, I might have gone the other way, but poor Isaiah. But yeah, I'll take the BCC guys with Wheeler Yuta crying in the corner.
Child of divorce, Wheeler Yuta. Josh, who you got?
BCC. I got.
Krssi?
BCC.
Then we got for the FTW Championship, it's going to be Hook defending against Roderick Strong. It's Hook in New York, so I'm going with Hook. Krssi?
For sure. Hook, for sure.
Josh?
I'm going with Hook. And I think this potential has I think it's going to be a fun matchup. It has the potential to be a fun matchup.
Mark?
Yeah, it should be a good one. Got to take Hook.
For the AEW Women's World Championship, it's going to be Mariah May defending against Yuka Sakazaki. They have not done enough to push Yuka Sakazaki as a potential person that could beat Mariah.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to go with Mariah May. Krssi?
Mariah, of course.
Mark?
No way Mariah May loses this match.
Josh?
Mariah.
Then this one I'm really looking forward to after that 6-man on Wednesday. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, defend against AEW International Champion Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Mark?
Fletcher's taking the fall on this. I'll take the Bucks.
Krssi?
Yeah, the Bucks is winning this one.
Josh?
Bucks retain.
I'm going for what you gonna do, bruv. Hollywood Will Ospreay is gonna use his creative control and he's gonna win the tag team titles.
You think
This
so?
fucking guy.
Wow.
This fucking guy.
And we got the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson, non-title. If he is medically cleared to wrestle, he goes one-on-one with Nigel McGuinness. Krssi?
Brian. Retain.
Mark?
Draw.
Ooh.
I like
Ooh, I like that one, Mark. That's a
Thank
good
you.
one. That's a good Monkey Ranch thrown in there. Fuck everything up. I like it. I'm here for it.
Josh?
I think Danielson retains.
It's not for the title.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's not for the title. So
Oh, is that the title?
yeah.
So then, yeah, draw it out.
Yeah, I actually like. I think I'm gonna go with Mark. I'm gonna go
Yeah, I would say I'll
with
take
a 30-minute draw.
Right, give me a draw.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. And then this could be the pay-per-view match that people have been saying. So.
Right, because I feel like they're gonna do it again. I just feel like this is the first of like maybe like 2 or 3 matches.
Like I said to you, that World's End competing against the WWE show down there in Orlando. This should be the main event.
That's fair. And then we got for the AEW World Title shot of Darby on the line. The winner will go on to face Bryan Danielson for the championship at Wrestle Dream. It's going to be Darby Allin one-on-one with Jon Moxley. I got to go with Jon Moxley, even though Darby Allin, this could go either way, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Jon Moxley. Mark?
Yeah, Moxley and Darby becomes a simp to Jon Moxley after the match.
No, damn. Moxley is definitely one. I feel bad for Darby, but yeah, you're gonna have to take the L on this one.
Josh?
I'm going with Moxley.
We're all going with Moxley to headline Wrestle Dream against Bryan Danielson. Should be a good show this Wednesday, Grand Slam. I'm looking forward to it. Know you are as well. But I was also looking forward to having our good brother Mark Hoke on the show, and you were an excellent special guest to have on here. Been looking forward to having you on here after I was on your show. So welcome. You're now an alum, and you're welcome back whenever you
stayed the
want.
whole show too. You didn't just stay in for like a minute, like an hour.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. We had our special guest stay in the whole show.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So, yeah, and would certainly appreciate if everybody would tune into my show as well. Yes. We're on Sunday, 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can catch us on KDOM 101.5 FM, the Odyssey app, and also we're live streaming as well on the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube, X, and Facebook. If you want to give us a subscribe, likes, all that kind of great stuff, we would appreciate it. And by the way, just in case your listeners didn't know, we're doing a contest on the website right now where you can win autographed pictures of your favorite wrestlers. I've got one Leo Rush right now. Just got to find 3 passwords in our YouTube videos for the week. Send me a message on the website and you can win. So check it out, markhokeshow.com.
And follow Mark on the Twitter machine as well. He does a great show, the #1 pro wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. So show him some love. Go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel and listen in on his show tomorrow morning for a show. But thank you so much, Mark, for joining us today.
You're welcome. It was awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Miss Krssi Luv, let everybody know where they can follow you as well.
Hey guys, so you can follow me here. Join us every Saturday, 11:05 a.m. for True Hill Heat. Join myself and SP as we do our power review on our other channel on Mondays. Serving Faces Hills will be coming to you tomorrow for our latest episode. And other than that, you can follow me, Krssi Luv _1, True Hill Krssi Luv. Bodyslam.net for Know Your Role on for SmackDown post show on Fridays. So yes, that's me. I'm there. Thank you.
And Josh.
You can follow me, JamPunk321, Twitter and Instagram. Next weekend I'll actually be out. I'm doing my last artist appearance at St. Anne's Comic-Con. First show in Staten Island, so looking forward to that. It's a 2-day show. I'm doing Friday and Saturday.
Damn, you're gonna have to get somebody with you, SP. I'm doing a wedding in DC next week.
Look at that. They just leave me dolo on my.
I mean, unless if you do it Sunday I'm available.
I don't know.
I got you, SP, if you need me.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
We love you, Mark.
I'm gonna call Mark, and I might call someone else. I might call another regular guest.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm going to DC to do a wedding to marry someone. So yes.
Hey, you had to get your days off, y'all, too, before we get to 300. We're 5 weeks away from 300 on October 26th. So I understand. But yes, thank you guys for joining us live today. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here. Join us live tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time for Serving Face and Heels with Miss Krssi Luv and Stephanie Hypes. And I will be back live here on Monday, I believe, for Collision Discourse because Sober Guy JJ says he's going to show up. But that's why I says he's going to show up. I don't know for sure. But for Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. For Miss Krssi Luv, for Josh, for Top Guy JJ, this has been True Hill Heat 295 Redeemer Exit. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.